time. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby.
You're welcome to the Friday edition of GTV Breakfast. This is GTV Breakfast News. So I am Maltiti Saida Sadiq. Lots of stories making headlines. So look at child rights issues. We'll do business and trade and health and take you to the foreign front in China where there's a typhoon, and also look at the Israel and Gaza war. You can watch the news on GTV Ghana on Facebook. We're streaming live there on YouTube as well, the GBC Ghana. Across the world on DSTV channel 278, you can watch us live. The Executive Director of Child Rights International, CRI, Mr. Bright Appiah, says the alarming pattern of negligence and inadequate care in some boarding schools, which has led to several preventable deaths, calls for drastic action to address the worrying phenomenon. Addressing the media in the wake of recent tragic incidents in some senior high schools, Mr. Appiah called for comprehensive reforms to ensure that all students receive the attention and support they need, especially when they fall ill or are injured. He revealed that Child Rights International's legal team is reviewing recent petitions from affected families, vowing to advocate for necessary policy changes to protect students.
On Friday, July 17, Child Rights International received a petition from the Adadze family of Anomabo seeking urgent intervention following the death of their son Theophilus Ansah, a final year science student at the Ghana National College in Cape Coast. The family alleges negligence on the part of the school authorities. This incident is part of a troubling pattern with 4 student fatalities reported in boarding schools between February and July 2024. Additionally, in 2023, 2 similar cases were reported involving deaths due to malaria and water scarcity. At a media briefing in Accra, the Executive Director of Child Rights International, Mr. Bright Appiah, said these incidents reveal systemic failures on the part of educational institutions in their obligation to provide not just tuition but caregiving. He, however, underscored the urgent need for a comprehensive reform to ensure that students receive proper attention, care, and support.
Once a child finds him or herself in a school environment, it is the responsibility of the school to provide care for the child. It's no longer in the hands of the parent to provide care. So the court has also established the foundation for which we need to also engage our educational facilities to know that moving forward, when children are in school, the duty of care has been transferred to the school. So for that matter, everything must be put in place to ensure that they enjoy those duty of care, so that the school system should not look at it as if when it comes to certain conditions of children, the parent, though they are in school, the parents still owe those children the duty of care. So that has been established clearly, that when it comes to those things, it is the school that must provide that duty of care.
Mr. Appiah stated that his legal team is thoroughly reviewing the Adadze family's petition. The organization, he hinted, is committed to advocating policy changes and ensure that schools fulfill their duty of care towards students.
Away from deaths in boarding schools, let's take you to Parliament when the President of the National Assembly of Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Adama Bictogo, met with his counterpart, Mr. Alban Bagbin, at Parliament in Accra. Discussions centered on enhancing inter-parliamentary collaboration, sharing best practices, trade and economy, youth development, agriculture and cultural exchange.
The visit by the President of the National Assembly of Côte d'Ivoire, Mr. Adama Bictogo, comes on the back of an earlier visit by Ghana's Speaker of Parliament, Mr. Alban Bagbin, to Côte d'Ivoire in June this year. The two leaders and officials from their respective parliaments held bilateral talks highlighting the long-standing friendship and cooperation between Ghana and Côte d'Ivoire. The Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Mr. Alban Bagbin, commended his colleague, Mr. Adama Bictogo, for being an extraordinary politician politician who has the welfare of his people at heart. Mr. Bictogo underscored the need for Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire to create a common platform for members of parliament to share ideas and the need to promote trade on the continent.
As speakers, to help our president to put down all the barriers that exist. If a Ghanaian would like to put in place, establish a company in Cote d'Ivoire, it should be free to do so without barriers. And the same thing for an Ivorian. We should put this cooperation into life.
Another important issue that came up for discussion was the need to have a legacy as Parliament.
And we're coming out with a new strategic plan, which will commence from January 2025 to 2029. So whoever becomes the Speaker of the 9th Parliament of the 4th Republic of Ghana will definitely have records. As a result of all this, I have put in place, and Parliament will be passing soon, a Parliamentary Transition Act. And so all what we're doing, we're recording them, and as I indicated from the very beginning, we lead a number of speakers in Africa. And the attempt is for us to form one umbrella body for the whole continent, which will be a conference of all the presidents, the speakers, and the presiding officers in Africa.
Mr. Adama Bictogo invited Mr. Oban Bagbin to the reopening of the National Assembly of Cote d'Ivoire in October 2024. Rachel Porte, GBC News, Parliament.
The presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has outlined a comprehensive vision for Ghana's agricultural sector under the bold solutions for the future for food security in Ghana. Addressing a mini rally in Wa East in the Upper West region, Dr. Bawumia said his presidency will maximize yields, adopt the application of lime instead of fertilizer, and will set up super aggregators to buy the food items, supply farmers with tractors, and advance credit to them.
The NPP presidential candidate Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and his team has pitched their tent in the past 3 days in the Upper West region for his constituency level campaign. In every constituency, Dr. Bawumia spent time to explain his numerous policies from taxation, digitization, agriculture, solar and the maximization of Ghana's natural resources for development. Funse, the district capital of Wa East, was the first port of call for Dr. Bawumia. He was welcomed by a jubilant crowd of party supporters to a mini rally ground in Funse. He outlined his policies to the people by zeroing in on the agricultural sector.
We are going to help the farmers increase their productivity. We are going to help the farmers with tractors and with credit for them to have. And we are going to move away from the normal fertilizer to lime. Lime makes our soils very fertile, and we have lime in Ghana, and we are going to help our farmers use lime in Ghana.
The campaign team of the presidential candidate also moved to Issa in the Dafiama, Busie Issa constituency. He first visited the palace to call on the chief of Issa. The Issa chief, through his spokesperson, was grateful to Dr. Bawumia for facilitating a number of projects in the constituency.
Prior to your assumption of office, this district has only one functional health center, the Dafiama Health Center. 4 others, namely Bojuperi Health Center, Issa Health Center, Fiang Health Center, and Busie Health Center, were all downgraded to CHIPS compounds. But as I speak today, the then Issa CHIPS compound has been upgraded to a polyclinic since 2019. This is the first time of its kind in the entire district since its creation in 2012. The district can now boast of a polyclinic, and we hope Agenda 111 would be completed soon for us to have a district hospital.
From the palace, Dr. Bawumia addressed the community in his regular Community Connect. He told them the achievements of the NPP government in the last 7 years and why they should vote for him to become the next president of Ghana.
We said we will bring free senior high school education. They said it was not possible. We said it is possible. And we have brought free senior high school education to all of Ghana. John Mahama said if he had the money, he wouldn't spend it on free SHS. So if he was president, you know we will not have free SHS in Ghana.
At Nadoli, Dr. Bawumia paid a courtesy call on the chief of Nadoli at his palace. He informed him of the purpose of visit in the town and also present to him his vision and policies for Ghana. Dr. Bawumia also addressed the community in his usual Community Connect. He appealed to the community to vote for him as the president and the NPP parliamentary candidate of the area.
I'll also keep my promise to you. Thank you very much.
More on politics. A pickup vehicle belonging to the campaign team of the Member of Parliament for Binduri in the Upper East region, Mr. Abdullahi Abanga, was burnt to ashes on Monday night. The said vehicle, with registration number GX4164-17, was parked in front of the house of the Binduri constituency chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Samuel Ayagu, at Atuba.
When the news team visited the incident scene at Atuba Market in the Binduri district, constituents of the Atuba community had gathered at the party chairman's house to catch a glimpse of the remains of the burnt new Nissan pickup. According to the constituency chairman, Mr. Samuel Ayagu, during the rains at about 9:20 p.m., 3 men wearing masks on 2 motorbikes arrived at the scene and fired some gunshots in the air. The wife of Mr. Ayago and some women who were spotted at provision stores close by were asked to lie face down. They then poured some liquid believed to be fuel on the vehicle and fired gunshots at it. The Upper East Regional Police Commander DCOP Raymond Adofiem asked the community to volunteer information to the security services to enable them to arrest the perpetrators.
We will call for early warning signals. You don't keep information to yourselves when you feel threatened. We therefore call for an end to these kind of attacks. I want to reassure the community that we will do all that we can, and you will have to assist us to identify and arrest any perpetrator.
East Regional Minister Dr. Hafiz bin Saleh condemned the act and promised to deploy more security personnel to the area to help to identify the perpetrators within 48 hours. The identity and motive of the perpetrators remain unknown, but the vehicle adorned with the NPP parliamentary candidate Abdullahi Abanga is believed to be the target. Meanwhile, Mr. Abdullahi Abanga, who is also the Deputy Minister for Local Government, visited the scene and has urged his supporters to remain calm and allow the law enforcement agencies to apprehend the perpetrators.
Away from the north, let's look at security now. The Ghana Immigration Service has received cybersecurity equipment from the government of Denmark in a move to complement government's efforts at strengthening security surveillance at the country's borders.
The presentation is part of the Danish government's Strengthening Border and Migration Management in Ghana (SMMIG) project to support Ghana in strengthening her institutional and operational capacities to manage irregular migration flows. The items included laptops, desktop, CCTV cameras, intrusion detection and prevention systems, monitoring systems, printers, photocopy machines and air conditioners. The Deputy Ambassador to Denmark and Head of Operations, Ms. Videbæk Sandom Pedersen, said international migration is an inherent and integral part of Denmark's developmental process. The Deputy Minister for the Interior, Nana Yea, thanked the government of Denmark for the support. She also commended the officers of the Ghana Immigration for their selfless dedication to duty. The Controller General at the Ghana Immigration Service, Mr. Kwame Suatechi, said the donation could not have come at a better time in view of the immense efforts to enhance operational capacities of officers.
The German embassy in Ghana has donated a multi-purpose mobile workshop van worth more than 100,000 euros to the Ghana Immigration Service. The van is to up border security in mostly northern Ghana as Ghana prepares for the elections in December. Nuto Bibini Nuto has the details.
Symbiotic relations between Ghana and Germany has been cordial but tilted in favor of Ghana in recent times. The donation of 3,000 pieces of flashlights is worth 90,000 euros. The multi-purpose workshop van, valued at more than 100,000 euros, is from the Bundespolizei, the Federal Police of Germany, on behalf of its government. The workshop van is a one-stop shop for all manner of repairs, as it has a grinding machine, standby generator, and toolboxes for various artisans to come in handy for quick fixes of equipment for the officers and men of the Ghana Immigration in remote operations. The van and the torchlights could mostly go to secure Ghana's northern borders. This comes at a time that there is heightened violent extremism in the Sahelian parts of the sub-region. And as Ghana prepares for a general election this December, the Comptroller General of the Ghana Immigration Service, Mr. Kwame Suatechi, is confident that Ghana's territorial integrity is secured. The German ambassador in Ghana, Mr. Daniel Kroll, described Ghana as a beacon of democracy and said Germany will continue to support its security services to help protect the burgeoning democracy. The German ambassador Daniel Kroll and the Deputy Minister for the Interior Nana Eya signed documents to transfer ownership of the logistics to the government of Ghana. Both parties believe illegal migration is a global challenge that requires a multilateral approach to effectively manage the problem. Mto Bibini Mto, GBC News, Accra.
Let's look at aquaculture. The Ghana Aquaculture Association, in collaboration with its development partners, have organized the Tilapia and Catfish Festival in Accra. They chose this platform to promote the consumption and patronage of tilapia and catfish in the country.
And boosting national economic development, it has a critical role in the global and national effort to achieve food and nutrition security and the sustainable development goals. As a primary livelihood activity, aquaculture provides employment and generates income along the value chain. The sector is recognized for its potential to bridge the significant gap between the local demand and supply of fish. While Ghana produces 400,000 tons of fish annually, the country's consumption exceeds 1 million tons, necessitating considerable foreign exchange expenditure. The Director of Finance and Administration at the Ministry of Fisheries and Aquaculture Development, Mrs. Rosemary Abbey, urged Ghanaians to reflect on their responsibility to ensure that aquaculture practices do not compromise the health of our ecosystem. The director of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Food Research Institute, Mr. Charles Toto, believes a collaborative effort is what it takes to address the challenges facing the aquaculture sector in the country.
We believe that by working together, we can address the challenges of food security. We will improve on our economic development. We will get proper environmental sustainability and good use of our catfish and tilapia in Ghana.
Mr. Francis Dihie is the national organizer of the Ghana Aquaculture Association.
The aquaculture industry is seeking to produce enough to close the gap. We are seeking to increase patronage so that the industry will be profitable. As we produce more, there will be market for it. We are not just producing for the local market, we are also seeking to export to earn revenue.
The Ghana National Aquaculture Association is seeking to diversify the range of tilapia and catfish products. Today, products like fish sausages, fish burgers, fish pizzas are adding to the range of tasty choices available to consumers.
Let's take you to Tema now. The Minister of State at the Energy Ministry, Mr. Herbert Krapah, has tasked the new management of the Tema Oil Refinery TOR to revive the facility within 3 months. Mr. Krapah expressed optimism about the refinery's viability and urged the new management to work diligently to restore its operations. He said this when he visited the refinery.
Equipment, of course, also bring in products.
The managing director of TOR, Mr. Kofi Makumbi Tego, said with the right support, TOR can work again.
Even though it's within our framework to have a 3-month dynamic, which we have set right now because of what we see and what we're doing, we could have delays in lead times, and that lead time can affect that timeline. But with all that being equal, I think it's a good schedule to have.
The minister also visited Central Oil Refinery, where he advocated a strong collaboration between TOR and Central, so Ghana can meet domestic supply of petroleum products. The minister also visited Tropical Cables, where management asked the minister to ensure that substandard electric cables are not imported into the country.
Let's take you to the foreign front now. Instagram owner Meta says it has removed thousands of accounts in Nigeria that were trying to target people in sextortion schemes. Such scammers typically pose as young women online to trick people into sending sexually explicit material before blackmailing them. Victims of sextortion crimes have taken their own lives due to the stress, stigma, and shame they feel after being scammed. And U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, who's expected to be the Democratic nominee for November's presidential election, has held what she called frank and constructive talks with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, striking a tougher tone than President Joe Biden. Ms. Harris said she made clear her serious concerns about casualties in Gaza, telling Mr. Netanyahu how Israel defended itself mattered. It is time for this war to end, she said after their face-to-face talks at the White House. Ms. Harris also stressed the need for a path to a two-state solution while calling on Americans to be aware of nuance on the conflict.
Prime Minister Netanyahu, I told him that I will always ensure that Israel is able to defend itself, including from Iran and Iran-backed militias such as Hamas and Hezbollah. I have had an unwavering commitment to the existence of the State of Israel, to its security, and to the people of Israel. I've said it many times, but it bears repeating. Israel has a right to defend itself, and how it does so matters. I also expressed with the Prime Minister my serious concern about the scale of human suffering in Gaza, including the death of far too many innocent civilians. And I made clear my serious concern about the dire humanitarian situation there, with over 2 million people facing high levels of food insecurity, and 500,000 people facing catastrophic levels of acute food insecurity. What has happened in Gaza over the past 9 months is devastating.
Let's now bring you the weather reports for Friday. And Chief Meteorologist Felicity Afianyo joins us via the phone now to give us the update. Good morning, Felicity. A good weather for us this Friday and the weekend. Are we expecting that?
Good morning, Multity. I will say yes, we have a good weather for the entire country. Okay. Cloudy in the mornings and in the evenings with light rain or drizzle expected over most areas over the southern sector. The north, we expect isolated cases of rain and thunder for today, tomorrow. Then Sunday, we expect the coverage to increase to scattered over places. We are expecting a rainstorm that is likely to move over the Sahel region, and portions will move down over the upper eastern deep cloudiness over the north part of transition zone. For temperatures, we expect to be a bit chilly in the mornings and in the evenings with a value of around 20-22 degrees Celsius over most areas. For the afternoon, we expect it to be warm but not too warm, a bit comfortable. We expect temperatures to range between 29 and 32 across the entire country. For the fisher folks, we expect the state of the sea to remain rough throughout the weekend. No massive rainstorm is expected over the ocean. So but then it's going to be windy and the tides are also going to be a bit high. So we expect the folks to tune to the marine forecast desk. For the inland water, yes, we are expecting some rain in the afternoon of their area. In the morning hours, the misty and foggy conditions expected and likely to reach.
We lost Felicity. I have you on your there. I'm sure terrible phone lines, but she did say that the sea, there's going to be some strong winds and also the tide will be high. So our fisher folk should be cautious out there. That's the Friday weather reports. Let's now bring you the Lotto numbers for today, the winning numbers for Lotto on your screen now. For Alpha Lotto Excel Thursday, the winning numbers are 63, 63, 5, single 5, 66, 66, 27, 27, and 43, 43. Again, for Alpha Lotto Thursday, Excel winning numbers are 63, 63, 5, single 5, 66, 66, 27, 27, and 43, 43. I am Multi-Decider Sadiq. There's more news when you log on to our website at gbcghanaonline.com. Get all your trendy news there. There's a lot of tech conversation on the show right after. We'll take a break. We're back shortly.
Don't leave me here high and dry.
6:32, exactly 5 months to Boxing Day. And you're watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Kafi Day. Lots of conversations coming up later on today. But for now, we are looking at all things tech in our Tech Corner, BFS Tech Corner. David Jedu of Cyber One Defense Communications. David, good morning.
Good morning.
Today I'm your reverse image, man.
Exactly.
You're wearing brown, I'm wearing black. If they look at our shoes too, it's the same. You are wearing brown shoes, I'm wearing black shoes. So we reverse on ourselves. How's it going?
Oh, it's great. It's great. It's been good, right?
Before we jump into our conversation about tech and church issues, there's a big announcement from OpenAI, the creators of ChatGPT.
Let's break the news.
Yes.
Man.
So OpenAI is announcing its much anticipated entry into the search market called SearchGPT. This is an AI-powered search engine with real-time access to information across the internet. So this is a big challenge to Google. The search engine starts with a large text box that asks the user, "What are you looking for?" Look at dim there. But rather than returning a plain list of links, SearchGPT tries to organize and make sense of them. In one example from OpenAI, the search engine summarizes its findings on music festivals and then presents short descriptions of the events, followed by an attribution link. In another example, it explains when to plant tomatoes before breaking down various varieties of the plants. After the results appear, you can ask follow-up questions or click the sidebar to open other relevant links. There's also a feature called Visual Answers, but OpenAI didn't get back to The Verge before publication on exactly how this works. So basically, this is a big challenger to Google search. So how excited are you about this?
Yeah, I'm very excited, and some people don't know what we're talking about. They're confused. So what is OpenAI doing now? They are entering into the search engine optimization or search engine market. What we mean here is that when you want to come to the internet after getting your data, you go to either Chrome, right, to search for something, or you go to Opera, meaning you go to other browsers. Now, search engine, OpenAI has developed their own, that is called SearchGPT. That is going to do more advanced. If you hear what they said here, it's going to really take the market, and this is going to be a big blow to Google, especially to their Chrome. And I believe that now they have just quickly integrated it on Chrome, whereby you can add it as an extension. But I believe that very soon people will have it as their own app or their own browser. And then right now, even we are using ChatGPT as a browser already.
Exactly.
And they are giving us this. So this is mind-blowing. And I believe that now we are all researchers. Like, you know what? I don't think now people have to spend so much time in researching, looking at the new integration. It's a mind-blowing, man.
We love it. We love it. So watch out. And it's open so far to only 10,000 test users. So they will be testing it for them and giving them feedback for them to open it to all of us. I hope I'm one of the 10,000, because I've been using ChatGPT. I hope I can be one of the 10,000. And then we'll test it, then we'll give you feedback. Okay, so away from that, now let's talk about tech and its impact on church activities. 2 days away from church. Today is Friday. And give us a link between tech and church matters.
All right, so Kav, I remember right after COVID or within the COVID time, one of the areas that were really, affected was the church activities. People were not able to go to church to do their basic activities that they're supposed to do in church. So that's from there we've seen technology really playing more role into church activity, where we've seen people using YouTube, people using Facebook, and one basically, we are in Ghana here. One example that I could cite that everybody knows is Alpha Hour, how it started, and now Alpha Hour everywhere around 12 people online. You don't need to go to the church. How do you join your Alpha Hour? Recently, that is when it came to TV, but it was on social media. So we're looking at how technology is being used to enhance church activities, right from the word go, in terms of the publication of it, in terms of even organization, in terms of even giving offering. You can do that. In terms of even having an event in the church, you could have a ticket, and even now sermon. sermon. Even now, the pastors, the sermon, even for the music, the people in the music ministry, you could, ChatGPT, can you give me some list of worship songs I can sing this morning? You've forgotten, and it'll give you. And even if you want to customize, my Pentecostals, they can customize songs based on a testimony. If you want a customized song, they can just give it to you like that. So this is where advancement in tech, as where AI is really helping. So
let's see some sites.
Yes, let's see some sites. We'll just begin with what we know, that Facebook, right? So Facebook, here we have the Facebook Live, where the churches could go to Facebook and do a live. So you just go to Facebook Live, right? Then the churches are there. Most churches have a Facebook account. So now they're able to talk to, speak to their members on Facebook. So when you come here live, you see some live things are going. So you just go to your live here, and then you just start streaming, where you have kind of a small setup. You have a small setup being done. You have a camera, you have a mic, you have some software, then either OBS or any other, then you use it. So this how now churches are coming on this space. Now when it comes to the giving side, we have platforms like the PayPal and these, that is get.tithe.ly, right? So we have free online giving used by almost about 37,000 plus churches, not members. Wow, we have churches in the world.
The only online giving tool with no monthly fees and effective transaction rates below 1%.
So this morning, if you are watching us and your church, you want to start, giving online, having kind of online giving, then you could look at this platform.
Get.tithe.ly.
Yeah, tithe.ly. That's it. So that's how we can give. So now, if you are not able to even get to the church premises, you can be able to give online using platforms like this. So technology is now helping a lot of church activities.
I mean, on the local front, my church, we just have a Momo number.
Okay.
That and it's both the 10-digit Momo number and then the 4-digit one as well. Yeah. And you basically send your tithe there. In the reference, you mentioned Kafui Day tithe.
That's it.
And then it goes.
It goes.
Simple. And they will give you a record of how much you've paid so far and everything like that. Yeah,
and even now with the same thing, with the USSD code, some of the churches are even, when you go to church, to register for your presence, they have a short code. You dial, then if you are a new member, if you are in, you say register, so that you know that this person was in church today.
Yes.
Right. So even if you join online, you can also register. You were there some. And if there's anything, you could be able to be part. Right. So that means that now, because of technology, you can't say that, I have traveled, I cannot join my fellow my church. Wherever you are, you could be doing that. Still on giving, we can still use platforms like PayPal, of which unfortunately Ghana and Nigeria, we are out of these when you are creating it. But
is it the bad boys who have made it?
Yeah, exactly. CAF, almost about 10 years till now, we're still fighting this paper.
You know, issue. I hate scammers.
Yeah, I know, CAF.
Yeah, I hate them.
CAF,
with passion, pure passion.
I know.
Hate them. I know. Because of you people like that we don't have
CAF, because you're talking about these scammers, it came in the news that Meta on IG has removed almost about thousands of accounts that are pretending to be people, using them for sextortion issues. So I think that's a good one. And how did the Meta was able to do that? How? It's based on your reporting. So if you go through an issue online, the first thing is I report the platform. So when they have mass issues like this, they will take them off. You know. So because of your reporting, some platforms that are engaging in sextortion, I mean, enticing you to give them some nude pictures by lying to you, then they use it to blackmail you, they're extorting you. Those platforms are now taken off, but it doesn't mean that it's off. Right. So we have PayPal here.
PayPal, we can use that.
Can use that now. So here, let's go. So here we're talking about how we can also reach out to our members. How can we reach out to our members? So the basic one that we have known is WhatsApp, and WhatsApp has gotten a lot of integration. CAF, now we have even WhatsApp meeting, whereby in groups you can have an audio, video conferences there, right? And then we can also use the email, right? So this one, you turn out the emails into revenue, right? So where here it's called the MailChimp.com. What you're going to do here is that you're able to send, newsletter to your church members, informing them about some activities that may be going on. Some of the churches members are not able to come to church, so
using their emails.
Using their emails. so they have, you can be able to do that. All these are some of the inputs where church tech is enhancing the churches. So we have a lot to share. So we have that. The next one is the Slack, right? So slack.com sources for the management, right? So how do we manage? So here is for management. So you want to manage your church, right? How do you manage the church? It's not just about prayers. It's about also how well you could manage the church and also know your membership and all those things. You could use these guys, and they have a lot of things. It's been blended with Google Calendar, and Google Calendar would keep updating you of all your projects and your to-do list, your tasks, right? What you have to do, right? So sometimes if you have zonal meetings, you have let's say
session meetings,
cell meetings. You could be using this to prompt you, and all these are ways where technology. Then some years back, I don't think that we're having things like this. It's either Sunday, Saturday, Friday, we move to church. Without that, you are not part of service. But today, if you are there or not, we could be part of service when you're integrating all these things, right? So then we go here to also Eventbrite, one of the powerful platforms for organizing events, right? So you have an event coming up on the church, you could really come here and schedule for that. So you have a lot of them here. So we have a lot. So you could use that same. Other people are using it for other things. You could also use it for your church,
your crusades, your whatever, your youth camps, everything.
Youth camps and everything. Yeah. So all that we are saying here is that how can we use technology to enhance our church and activities? So we have so many activities, of which event is part of it. We have Sign Up Plus, also Trustio. So here you can also for event and how you can also
signupgenius.com.
Yes, signupgenius.com. You could also use that to be able to organize an event in your church, right? Then we have the calendar, Google Calendar, right? Google Calendar would help you also remind you of all your activities. No need to call the secretary, the church secretary, to be giving announcements on the space. When you have these, they could be doing that, right? They could be doing that. Now here is for, let's say, the pastors, right, or the people who give us sermon.
I use this platform a lot because I use it for audio.
Okay.
Because you have the audio Bibles here and a Bible Gateway.
My brother, then you are current.
Really good. Yeah.
All right, so Bible Gate, right? Bible Gate.
And they can give you different versions of the Bible. So you have NIV. And then you have New Catholic Bible, New English Translation, and in different languages as well, So these are the English one, Orthodox Jewish Bible, Revised Standard Version. All of them are there. So depending on the name of God Bible, I didn't even know that one existed. So depending on the one you want, and then you have them in different languages as well.
You have lots of languages,
Yeah, so this Bible Gateway is awesome.
It's awesome. So you have a lot of functionalities in there, whereby now, if you say that sometimes, some of the Bibles and the way they approach the text, and you cannot buy all these Bible, to compare. So if you have platforms like this, it just gives you easy way around it, and they keep you daily verses.
Yes.
Yeah, they give you like, so here you have, So
all the books in the Old Testament, New Testament.
Yeah. So when you look at the Genesis, we have the beginning, Adam and Eve. So it gives like a summary of the Bible.
Yeah.
And
so you can go straight there.
Yeah, you can go straight there.
So let's go
Cain
to
and Abel. Yes. It gives you. So that's
there.
Genesis 4.
Yes.
I have to. I'm going to do. Please, any school for me to go and do my theology.
So you can get it right there.
It's becoming easy, right? Just come here and just get it. So if I'm looking at Exodus, I have all the things that has happened.
Broken down.
So please, I remember those times I did general arts. We have something like CRS.
Yes.
I think these ones are going to be a solution, because you have to you know all what happens in Romans. You know what happens.
Yeah.
Paul.
And I can see a pastor deciding that, okay, for the next 7 weeks, we are going to be dealing with Romans.
Yeah.
This week, we're looking at Paul's longing to visit Rome.
Yeah.
Next week, God's righteous judgment. Like that. And then you have study tools as well.
Yeah.
That gives you scripture engagement, more resources. Yeah. There's an audio version as well, so you can listen to the Bible as well.
So you have a lot. You have just look at technology.
Yeah.
A lot of solution in just a simple platform. And if you're a pastor, or not even a pastor,
somebody is studying the word.
Yeah, he's studying the word. And even Christians, you go to church, these are platforms whereby you need to understand, read the Bible yourself. not always they reading to come and explain to you. Let's read it. Okay, so...
Oh, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
Mentimeter.
Yeah. So...
Turn presentations into conversations with interactive polls that engage meetings and classrooms.
Yeah.
What will you ask your audience? I think I'll be using this for... I have a presentation in Tamale one of these days with Multity.
Okay.
We'll use this. Mentimeter. It's not a church thing, but we can use it.
You can still use it.
Yes.
You can still use it. So this is it. Have a lot of presentations. So you have it like that. You have a lot of things in there.
So Bible study classes, men's meetings, women's meetings.
You can use that. You can use that. You can use that.
All right. What next? This is exciting.
We have, and here we have Kahoot.com. Kahoot. So here, you know, we use it for especially, I love kids and I'm always in the children ministry. So we have Bible quiz, you know. You can use Kahoot.
Okay.
You have quiz, you have things. So it's like a platform to be able to, you know, ask questions, you know, and get answers, a lot of things. So for that, in your church, you've done organization and you want to ask questions and all those things, you can put it there. You can use Kahoot. And not only for church activities, for other stuffs, Kahoot is one of the best areas to be doing that, right? So you can actually, we've shown you the platform, go there, free 10-minute sessions, so you have the session too. You can go there and just use it to see what you can also get for your church there, right? Then we go to the master brain, that is ChatGPT. We can talk about using technology to enhance church activities and leave ChatGPT. What are you looking to do? What do you want to really do at the church premises? I don't know what you want. Just go and ask this old man. Go and ask him.
Let's ask a question.
About church.
So let's say, give me outline. Oh, let's go back.
Oh.
Go back.
Yeah. Oh, you don't worry. Let it finish. You can write.
Okay.
It.
So provide an outline for a sermon on what?
Okay, giving. Because
provide
our viewers don't like giving, so
outline.
Let's talk about giving this morning.
Okay, outline for a sermon, a short sermon.
Yeah.
On giving.
Sermon on giving.
On giving.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell it to add relevant Bible verses.
Oh.
Yeah. Relevant.
So you've seen how Kafu is using the AI. Some people have it, but they search and nothing comes.
Depends on what you put inside. So provide an outline for a short sermon on giving. Add relevant Bible verses.
Okay. So let's enter.
Enter.
Yeah.
Enter.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So we are going. Okay. Yeah.
Our sermon is there.
Yeah.
Thank you. The blessing of giving.
Mm-hmm.
Then they say opening statement, begin by addressing the significance of giving in the Christian faith.
Yeah.
And then we have the call to give, biblical foundation of giving. Then this is the verse, Luke 6:38. Give and it will be given to you.
So you watching me give.
A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over.
My verse, man.
Will be poured into your lap for them with the measure you use. It will be measured to you. Then it tells about the explanation on that verse.
Yes.
Then giving as an act of worship, is giving you the verse.
Yeah.
Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops. Proverbs 3:9. Explain. Spirit of giving.
I pray that our viewers get spirit of giving this morning.
Each of you should give what you have decided in your heart to give, not reluctantly.
Yeah.
Then it gives you sacrificial giving. Then it talks about the blessings of giving. Spiritual blessings.
Yeah.
You know.
And then give you conclusion.
You know,
because we said short, right?
And we can even say you can be more specific and say, listen, it's a 30. Make it a 20-minute. Make it a 20-minute.
Yeah, no, it's
make it. Make it.
Yeah, I think it's loading.
We've been complaining about slow data. This is one of the examples. The telcos are not helping us. Make the data fast so that we can enjoy digitalization.
Yeah,
good. Make it a 20-minute.
Yeah.
20-minute
sermon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sermon. Provide timestamps. So to tell us at 5 minutes what I should do. Provide timestamps. Provide. It doesn't matter. Timestamps. Timestamps. Okay. Good. So now to tell us how long you stay, you will let's go. Enter.
Enter there.
Okay.
So You know,
now it's going to give us the timing.
The timing.
See? Introduction.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. Purpose. 1 minute. Call to give. 5 minutes.
And Kaf, you know, when you just type that, it should just give us this, because ChatGPT is able to remember what you have typed already.
Before. Unless I say, ignore what I've typed before and then start something new.
So that's wonderful.
So this is great. So you can actually have your sermon timed. You know, Spirit of Giving, 7 minutes. Spiritual Giving in 3 minutes. Everything is there.
So
conclusion, 3 minutes.
And you know, then you need to spend close to so many hours by researching this,
and this is
reading the Bible.
So quick.
But so technology, some I don't know, but Kav, let's talk about this. There's other side of it. I don't know. Some of the churches see these as a threat, or I don't know the embracement of technology.
Yeah.
You see, it's not.
The first time I showed it to a friend of mine, she said, "This is 666. You're not going to go near it."
You understand? I don't get it.
So quick.
Please, this is technology. It's technology, see, and technology is just to help you. It doesn't change your belief. It doesn't change your faith.
Yeah.
It's just to enhance you. So what we are talking about today is that how we can use technology to enhance church activities. We didn't say change your faith.
No.
Change your belief.
Just enhance it.
Enhance it.
Yeah.
So ChatGPT, well, you've studied the Bible. Sometimes if you are short, sometimes you're on a pulpit and you've forgotten your lines. Come on, just pick up your phone, go to ChatGPT. ChatGPT, I'm speaking on this, and give me more verse on that, and we'll give you within some few seconds, right? So these are some of the things that we could do. So we have ChatGPT as the master brain there. So give me questions
for a Bible quiz.
For Bible quiz, yeah, it gives
for children. Quiz.
Yeah. And you can actually, if you want to limit it to a particular thing that you've taught them, you could say, for kids. And that's all. Yeah, you just enter, it will come, you give us. So we have that. Yeah. So it gives you both the questions.
Who built the ark to survive the flood? The answer is there.
Somebody say Joanna, but it's Noah.
It's Noah. What did God create on the first day?
Light.
Who was swallowed by the big fish? Jonah. When did Jesus use to feed 5,000 people?
When?
What did Jesus use to feed?
5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
Who was Jesus' mother?
Mary.
Then you have medium questions.
Yeah.
And then you have hard questions. Yeah. So there's so much you can do with technology to make your attendance, your sermons, just wonderful. David, you're getting ideas.
Well, it's great. That's it.
So some tools you can use to make your experience.
Yes. So all what we've said this morning is just to enhance your church activities. Using technology. We cannot live away with this. And one thing that I'm ensuring the church is that we should have a good budget for technology in the churches. Yeah. Right. Some of the churches are ignoring this, and you see, it's not helping. So now you have a lot of youth in your church.
Yeah.
You can employ them by allowing them to learn these things. They would pick up, church jobs, and they will be doing it. And you just have to also appreciate them with some salary or some incentives.
It's not just the music ministry. The tech too is part of the ministry.
It's part, because see, the point here right now is that, look at it, go to the embassies. Your church members are leaving. How would they join service? Think about it. Yeah, Kaf.
And if they are abroad, they can still give to you.
Yeah. You see, go to Canadian embassy this morning, Abilinkpi, and see the number of people leaving. They all go to church. So your church members are leaving. How do you still engage them? You still have to pray with them. You still have to get their dollars once more for the church growth. You are building a church, So you need to. So we need to introduce these things so that we can enhance our church activity. So today we are in the Christian side, right? So I think the next time we also talk about how we can also use this in the Muslim side, how we can also use it, because it has been Christian, so that we balance the equation and possibly if the traditionalists, I don't know if they can.
They've already started using tech. Big time.
Comfort colleague, digital comfort. They are all online now using technology to really do massive things, Kaf.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for my reverse twin today.
Yeah.
Black and Brown is the name of the game.
Yeah.
Any shout outs?
Yeah. So shout out to Cyber One Defense, our staffs, the directors, Mr. Foster, Hilda, Prince, everyone over there. God bless you for your support, and also a big one to you yourself, always making time with us to watch us. And please do well to share so that we get love.
All righty. Thank you so much. So now it's the interface between tech and worship. religion, and how to use all these tech tools to make your experience more meaningful. You're watching GTV Breakfast. We're going to have a conversation on the effect of all of this on church attendance in the next 1.5 hours or so. There's a conversation on the do's and don'ts of dating. So dating do's and don'ts with our in-house relationship guru, Reverend Dr. Nanaya Osupremper of the Authority Bible Church. She's sitting down with Valerie, who's looking all nice lime green, coming up with the social media corner with Jay, I believe, in a short while. You stick around. Don't go anywhere. This is GTV Breakfast. And
morning, people.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome as the SMC on hashtag GTV Breakfast. My name is Jay Gabra.
And mine is Valerie Danso. You see, with Can I Live, it's the Friday TGIF people, and it's the TGIF edition. So I'm looking all summer green and lime green thanks to Alicio Clothing on Instagram, and then around Medina Zongo Junction as well. Alicio, thank you. I love the pastels.
I thought I heard something, but you don't worry.
No, you didn't. It's Alicio Clothing. So people, we are starting our trends. But so on BBC yesterday, the marine biologists are saying that they found sharks off the coast of Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yes, and all the sharks have cocaine in them. That's not on the SMC, but that's something for you to go and look on there and BBC. So surprisingly, Brazil.
So Brazil's coast is cocaine coast? Is that what you're trying to say?
They found the sharks there infused with cocaine.
Now, where did they get Okay, so wait, so did the cocaine drive them there, or it was already there before they arrived?
Charlie, the stories on BBC, people. The stories on BBC.
For those of us nerds and everything, our mind has been filled with the fact that Deadpool and Wolverine is finally out. Today it's premiering, and yesterday was the pre-screening. I know for a lot of fans who went in there, there were a lot of Wolverine cameos, and Wolverine is back. Hugh Jackman is going to play Wolverine for the rest of his life. I'm telling you, he tried to retire and everything, but nah, it ain't going to happen.
We'll definitely go and watch it.
Oh, yes,
We'll bring you a spoiler.
Why would you do that?
But
I've been privileged to watch it, but I'm not spoiling it for you. So
listen,
hey.
to somebody who is back.
Yes.
EL is back.
Oh yeah.
EL is back, baby.
This year's best kept secret. You know, he's been talking about an album for a while now, and then he finally, give us snippets of it. And
Bar 7.
Bar 7.
Yeah, EL is back indeed.
And if there's one musician who has a lot of bars in his music, it will be EL. Hey, I remember one of my
here's what it looks like. The album cover.
Yeah, there's the album cover. Hey, you remember that trend on TikTok? Anything can be an album cover.
Yes, this one fits in there. And so
and then we'll bring you the track listing.
Yes. Okay, so here is
the track. We have the bar intro. We have hip hop. We have Delilah as well. Then there's Bar Radio. There's Tracy. There's Fat or Gap, and then there's
Fat Gap.
Fat Gap. I saw a slash over there, so I thought it was. Oh, it is my eyes.
Yes.
Wait, really? There's a slash. There's a slash.
There's a slash there. Then it's my eyes. Chakido. Chakido.
What that thing called?
And then there's Boogeyman on there. The Mataki. Stop doing that. And then there's IDGAF.
Is it Edgar or
IDGAF?
I don't know. Maybe the font they used to do there.
One Ghana
guy. Then one of us.
That features Samini.
Yeah.
IDGAF features Kobe, Unyame, and Shredi. Boogeyman features Lyrical Joe.
Oh,
wow.
IDGAF.
Now you get it.
Now I get it.
Chakido.
Did I say Edgar?
Yeah,
my
you
goodness. Is the font? Is the font they use?
It's the font. So
yes, we blame the font.
Go out there, new EL out there, update your playlist. It's Friday, Bars on Bars.
You know, he can become a lawyer now that he has released Bar 7.
Yes, really. So
that was so corny. Let's move on.
So to our next trend, okay.
Back in the back of the lab, and I'm back on the track. Let me back. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry. Baby, you get me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you get me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me high and dry.
You know, EL has a track called Minabopo, but this one EL, Wanabo, or is that how we say?
Wanabopo.
We have seen you, like he has released.
Wanabo.
Ah, yes, you see. I'm forced. I said Wanabo. We have seen Bar 7. That's a trailer. It's a very quick one to introduce the whole album and all. So when it comes out, go on your streaming platforms and hey, go get that album. Yeah, Bar 7.
Okay. Kim Promise is doing the most. We are looking at him on Vivo and he's doing amazing. So we picked one video from him where he performed live a video and he performed Mad O.
And the performance was Mad O, just like the song. Paranoid is currently at the top. But today we're bringing you Mado. He also performed that one on Vivo as well, but we're bringing you Mado this one. He's just killing it. He's killing it. He's killing it. Fans on social media.
After Terminator, he's just gone off the hook.
Oh, yes.
So we're about to begin. The weekend is here, and the next video is our intro into the rest of the videos for our weekend. So this is sort of like the mood intro.
Yes.
Yeah.
The weekend begin.
It's like you're starting.
Oh yeah. And you know that particular meme. Anytime people are beefing on social media, especially
that's what they start.
And then somebody will just come and put that thing in the comments. I've been.
You're cooking. So
you know, Hopefully was trending yesterday on the X, and then I was like, oh, what's going on? And apparently there's some Kalije Sheldon thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but hey, I'm not going to delve into that. But for now, we're talking about brain resets.
We've started. Okay.
Yes.
So our mood for the weekend has started. Our first video, this is called the brain reset. You would understand why after watching the video. Coming up now.
Thank you. See what sending signals with three now. Obe bot wasumuna. One say of three no. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. No a pijina on the third no waswa. Obe damage a working yama o trimunt me mabiem. Ghanaian man ono kintampo inside almost wa pie mobana what the dima falibia and nanti mo shet Thailand inside ona or crack the paginesano or boa one sre almost wa kaka ni bebre pace bebre into or no the wicked crasher ono kwano be do boni or the kind key see we send signals with trim na obe bot wasumuna one say of three no. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit no a pijina on the third no or waswa. Obed damage a working yama o trimunt me mabiem. Ghanaian man ono kintampo inside almost wa pie mobana what the dima falibia and nanti mo shet Thailand inside ona or crack the paginesano. Or boa one sre almost wa kaka ni bebre pace bebre or no dear.
What a game. I don't like this game.
Why?
But did you listen to Code Mickey when he was speaking? Like, this guy has gone through Libya, the desert. Like, he struggled. You want him to slap you.
All the frustrations and everything.
What a game. This is not a nice game, but this is a mood, you know? People choose violence.
Exactly. But you know, it's the brain reset sport. And so once you are playing that sport, once you receive that slap, it's supposed to reset your brain so you don't play that game again. But then again, you have competitors, you know, going in there for that part. We introduce the sport.
That's it. It's not a nice sport. That's for sure. It's not a nice sport.
Well, you and I won't participate. So,
okay, we're choosing violence. No, this show does not support violence. But the parliament in South Africa, there was some violence that was brewing. And like we said, it's the weekend. So enjoy this one too.
Yeah, it's a flashback Friday kind of thing.
Can the previous speaker please withdraw the word anarchy?
No, that's political statement.
Can he please withdraw because he said the EFF were anarchists?
Honorable member, that's a political statement. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, Deputy Speaker.
No. You can debate that outside, not now, please, or when you have a chance to speak.
Okay, it's
that's
fine.
Not a procedural issue and so on, yeah.
Deputy Speaker, you're an anarchist.
Sorry?
You're an anarchist.
Me?
Yes.
Okay, honorable member, you withdraw that now.
Oh, why?
Honorable member.
Why must I withdraw? You say he must not withdraw. Why must I withdraw when I say to you?
Let me tell you.
You said he must not withdraw,
member.
but I must withdraw when it comes to you.
Honorable member, let me explain to you why. Because you don't understand the rules. Honorable member. Honorable
it was
member.
a political statement.
Honorable member.
Actually, that's what you said.
Honorable member.
Statement.
You will withdraw that statement.
But it was a political
Honorable
statement.
member, I'm a presiding.
Thelma says, "Cut on the end." Oh wow!
You know one thing I love about women, when they tell you, "Okay, it's fine." As a man, when you hear that statement, don't take it lightly. When the honorable speaker said, "Oh, it's a political statement," I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." I was like, "No, that's where the trouble started." Because
Yes,
the way she agreed,
okay, yes.
yeah, it's like when they agree, it's like, you know. So listen, word of advice going into the weekend: be very careful of women when they say, "Okay." Very, very dangerous. Am I lying?
Wow, Jay. Wow.
Oh.
Okay, so
She said, okay. Am I?
So I'll leave you to judge whether the next video is a prank or it's real. For me, though, if it is real, I think it is very, very irritating. I would get offended.
Yeah, maybe you should come and try that thing in Ghana.
Yeah. So we'll leave you to judge.
I want problems always.
In a small table. In the third India.
Hey, le monde part en couille.
Who is this one now? Where did this one coming from?
So what do you think?
What do
Prank or staged? Which one?
No, whatever it is very offensive. You know, even though we're in the era of content creation and all of this, some of the pranks, man, some of the pranks. There's one video I watched where they were trying to prank her, robbers or something, and she just ran into an oncoming vehicle. Like, you know, what is this?
Oh, there was this one guy who was proposing to his woman, and then he pretended some guys would come to rob the car. They started breaking his glass.
No, man, some of these things go a little bit. I mean, if this is a prank, his team or the cameraman, they better have a big serving of chicken and coke for the lady, because
you know, on social media, when people believe some of these things are staged, because where's the camera person plays that the person they are pranking doesn't see. You see Cristiano Ronaldo behind a camera and he's drinking coffee. It's like, oh, you think you can fool us with this? So hey, I think it's staged. Let us know your thoughts.
That's another move for the weekend. If somebody comes at you like this, and if you are eating and somebody comes at you like this, what would you do? What would be your honest reaction?
Eating fufu and somebody just comes to dip their hand and just starts.
It
deserves a brain reset.
Yes, a brain reset right there. And next, I was going to say our next prank. So our next video is that of the ship dealer, the richest man perhaps in Africa. He happens to be the son of the Queen of England as well. So people, enjoy another video from the ship dealer.
Ana de bia me ba me de ka papa ba no wonni madwuma me ye nkura na be bisa me a ship dealer o don't say and na bia sam na ka kan san don't say me see me a ship dealer dabi so wonni ma so wonni ma ko bisa shekatani okay in Qatar in Doha adi asam na ka kan san no me a ship dealer wo sere ade o sha me no min so bia me ton ship baby min so bia me ton ship baby but we o so bia say wo tu ready moi ade asam na ka kansaro please I'm a serious okay
So if you've ever wondered why we call him the ship dealer, this is why.
I mean, the first time I saw him, I actually believed it. I'm like, I'm like, oh no, people. So that's the ship dealer. That's another mood. And the other mood is, of course, Akabeneza. So we are going to be bringing you two moods.
Yeah.
All of Akabeneza. The weekend is here, people.
Yeah, we are here by a break. The baby has been so a break. What we so say, what was some I do so I was a break. Charlie born to suffer. Wow.
Here we are here by bread. The baby has been so a bread. What we so say, call was some adults so I was a bread. Charlie, born to suffer, born to suffer. Uchi play now could the bank. I thought that the play now could share the pilot driver beer would dear Johnny mood. Get their confluence, the confluence, Sarak, and no nail rockrogen. Okay, I told you near the young can cry, but I know Emma, we are flexible. Choose a place when you're flexible. Was it too? That be and I say you have to do flexible. You dear Gianni Bencunia, you are welcome for me. Over share, went to any rising. Yet, my dear, to me said, you're not me the pass or pet at the near. Ready, go, mama. Can't Johnny, ready, go, mama. Boys, you go, or a tea on your second. Therefore, I am country check. Therefore,
You know, he's just such a big mood. What's his name again?
Akabeneza, Jay.
Okay.
Akabeneza.
We are. Okay, let's focus. Let's do this. So we are wrapping. So we're wrapping up. Akabeneza is such a big mood. Val is such a big mood. The GTV Breakfast is such a big mood. Thank you for seeing us for the social media corner. We're going to Studio 5 for sports. Any last words before we go?
Thank you, Alicia Clothing. I love my fit.
Well, it's time for us to give you the updates as far as the world of sports is concerned. My name is Akusia Eje. In our first story, the Moves and Yellow, that's Mediema Sporting Club, will open the beautiful Takwa TNA Stadium with a friendly match against Kumasi Asante Kotoko. The game is scheduled for Friday. The 10,400 capacity was funded by Goldfields Foundation under the Goldfields Takwa
Damai Ghana Limited. The historical match will be an epitome of a state-of-art stadium that has some modern facilities that improve people's experience when they watch the performance. And Ghanaian Premier League giants replace Hearts of Oak, who were initially approached for their forthcoming fixture, but the Phobians late confirmed their participation. Supporters are eager to witness a top-quality game between two elite Ghanaian clubs. That's Takoradi at the Takoradi NA Stadium. Remember that the stadium is an ultra-modern facility that contains essential features required for a once-in-a-lifetime experience. It is going to be a festival for Mediama fans and Tako community that's indicating an important point in Ghana's soccer history through its modern facilities. The TNA Stadium promises to stage local and international matches, therefore solidifying its place as part of Ghana football history books. In some other stories, Asante Kotoko has announced the reconstruction of Adakujache Training Complex into a modern facility funded by the life patron of the club, Otumfuo Osei II. The club shared the news on their official X page, revealing that the project will be executed in multiple phases, with phase 1 commencing yesterday. According to the information we have, they say that they are delighted to announce the commencement of the transformation of Adakujache into a state-of-the-art training facility. The ambitious project, fully funded by His Royal Majesty Otumfuo Osei II, will be executed in multiple phases. The first glimpse of the project reveals a stunning design that pays homage to the club's rich history. The buildings will feature vibrant murals of legendary players, serving as a reminder of the team's proud past and inspiring the current crop of players. The complex will boast a state-of-the-art pitch with both natural and artificial grass surfaces, catering to the needs of both the youth team and the first team. A 5-a-side training pitch will provide additional space for players to hone their skills, while a dedicated goalkeepers training pitch will offer specialized practices areas. To some other stories, and Accra Hearts of Oak has announced the signing of former BBN Eagle Stars defender Samuel Amufa on a free transfer. The 25-year-old centre-back passed his mandatory medical on Wednesday morning and has signed a 3-year deal with the Phobians. Amufa joins Hearts of Oak after running out his contract with Gold Stars, where he made 52 appearances over 3 seasons. The versatile defender can also operate as a defensive midfielder, providing added depth to the team's midfield options. This marks the third signing for Hearts of Oak in the ongoing transfer window, following the arrivals of Michael Iwa-Mensah and Asamoah Boateng from Nations FC. And also on the foreign front, Steph Curry and Kevin Durant have been talking about the chemistry that the U.S. men's basketball team have ahead of their games at the Olympics.
Country around the world as well. So thanks for having me.
And Steph?
Yeah, excited. It's my first opportunity. Be playing with the guys on the men's national team has been awesome so far. I know the energy in the city is pretty electric right now and only going to continue to get better. So I'm excited to experience this and obviously hopefully go win a gold medal and enjoy the entire experience of being an Olympic athlete. So very excited to be here. His game speaks for itself, what he's been able to accomplish on the court, and his style of play matches well. A guy that can dribble, pass, shoot, and being able to work off of him, it's been pretty seamless just because you usually try to just make the right play and something good will happen. And we haven't had this guy out here yet as well, so excited to put it all together. 'Cause there's a lot of different skill sets on our team. We've seen what Bron's been doing in the last couple of games, especially closing out games. So the chemistry is pretty natural. And again, you just have confidence. Whoever has the ball, you make a play, be yourself, and hopefully something good comes out of it. And that chemistry's been there so far. Hopefully it continues.
just been cool being around all of these great players and seeing them in a different element outside of just being competitors, you know. Finally, as teammates, you kind of, you know, you always got that competitive fire, but it goes down a notch when you're playing on the same team and you're competing against others. So it's been incredible. I mean, I haven't played yet, but just being on the sideline, on the bench, I've gotten more energy than I've had, you know, in the past. And I hate not playing, but just watching these guys and seeing how they operate, it's just been incredible.
It's a sprint. It's very, you know, March Madness kind of style. So just to be able to lock into every practice, not like we don't do that in the league, but every practice means something. Every exhibition game, like it was great that we went 5-0 and, you know, won a lot of different ways and tried to figure it out on the fly. So it's just everything's condensed, and that's the really only pressure you feel is, including an exhibition, it's hopefully only 11-game, you know, journey. And you got to be able to adapt quickly. You got
Oh, the music did enter my soul.
Kaf is a music people. If you are behind the scenes, he's just soaking every music
It's in my marrow, it's in my breath, it's in my brain cells, it's in my toes, it's in my hair, it's in my blood, it's in my eyes, it's in my tears. The
music is in the man.
Is oh, real cool and yeah. Let me drink to that. Good stuff. See what's inside. Headlines.
A Daily Graphic. Decade on remand without trial. 12 gain freedom at last.
What?
10 years.
10 years.
On remand.
2014 to now.
Yeah, man.
Lord. To better news. Well, this is great news for them. Yes,
for them.
But it makes you sad as well.
It says a lot
so
about
sad,
the system. Yeah.
Africa's largest rooftop solar project commissioned in Tema. Go Tema.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
To my people in house.
Yes.
Autism symptoms reversible. A pediatrician is saying this. The story is on page 13.
Electoral Commission to conduct mop-up registration from the 1st to the 3rd of August.
Winneba hosts 4th ECOWAS Parliament session. And that's the Daily Graphic.
We'll drink to the graphic.
Daily Guide says Krapa Commission's largest rooftop solar project. That's in Tema.
So speaker to speaker, Ghanaian speaker hosts Ivorian counterpart.
Okay.
Good.
Reform SHS policies to enhance student well-being.
That's Child Rights International. Yes. We'll be speaking with Brighter Pierre on the segment Helplines in a short while.
Great.
5,000 Kayaye to be trained, says the NEIP boss. A Kayaye is it's a female head porter. It's porters, okay.
Porters, yeah.
And NEIP is the National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program.
Okay, Nana fulfills you has promise.
Okay, Sokode Hall.
Sokode Hall.
All righty.
Sokode.
We drink to the Daily Guide.
Next paper. The Ghanaian Times, death of students in schools. CRI fumes at 4 SHSs, accuses authorities of neglect towards students' welfare.
If you want to know those SHSs, turn to page 12.
Page 12, yeah.
From White to Fugu, new Finance Minister Dr. Amin Adam in his regal Fugu wear. 193 health facilities nationwide enrolled onto e-health platform. That's what he says.
Okay. Increased size of oil blocks to attract more investment to sector. Dr. Manteo is saying this.
And the 12 remand prisoners freed, 10 granted bail. That's a big story. We drink to the Ghanaian Times.
The next paper, the Daily Dispatch. You are a very honest man, and I have no doubt you can do the work Baumia has given you. Okriapinhene to Napo.
Ghana Police Intelligence Unit, key factor in law enforcement. Okay, all right. All right.
Girl wins Oil Company of the Year 2024.
Congrats to them.
Okay.
We drink to the Daily Dispatch.
Okay, the Chronicle. Baumia fulfills promise. Construction equipment for MMDAs arrive. Distribution starts soon.
I'm committed to supporting Baumia to deepen bond with traditional authorities, says Napo.
Right. NDC to launch 2024 campaign in Tamale tomorrow.
VRA sensitizes residents on emergency preparedness plan.
Kojo Nkrumah to deliver 2024 Buzia Institute lecture.
Ecclesiastes 5:4. When you make a vow to God, do not delay to fulfill it.
Amen.
Amen. We drink to the Chronicle.
The New Finder. Guta Hills mid-year budget calls for consolidation of economic gains.
Tourism and hospitality should be seen as serious business, says Professor Gabriel Ishun, giving those who don't see it as serious business a bombastic side eye right there.
City depreciation, creditors, cash add 134 billion Ghana cedis to public debt in 6 months. Whoa.
VRA, no decision yet to spill water from Akonsombo Dam.
And Mr. Zhu Ningquan, Executive Chairman of the Central Group. Okay, there's a story on him. I believe the Central's Refinery for Operations license received, ARDA, CTAC praise. The story is on page 9. I was a bit confused.
All righty. That's your find out. We drink to that as well.
Yes, indeed.
So you heard the song we listened to earlier. The cover version by Yaya and Oreku. We are now going back 54 years into time to hear the original.
Wow.
Yes, by Nana Kwame Ampadu. So this is a 54-year-old throwback. I can guarantee you none of us in this room was born when this one came out. Enjoy. Headlines next. We drink to that.
Ghanaian music from Nana Kwame Ampadu, released in 1970, 54 years ago. That's why we say make good music, music that outlives you, music that outlives your generation, so that when it is played, the world listens and pays attention. Key shouts to every student or former student of Infantsiman Girls Senior High School. Motto Obranyewara Bo, life is what you make it. I'm a Temasco girl, but because of Nana Ampedu's song, shouts to Infantsiman Girls. It's Obranyewara Bo today. Thank you for joining us. This is the headlines on GTV Breakfast with Thelma Taki. Follow my handles. I am Thelma Taki. We are streaming across social media at GTV Ghana. My guest, who is seated at the table to help us understand the stories, share her perspectives as well, is Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim Hussein. She is a member of the interim committee set up to handle the affairs of the CPP. Hajia, welcome back.
Thank you, Thelma.
You loved the song.
Oh, really? In fact, it moves your body and soul.
And it gives you advice.
Advice, yes.
Which can transform your life.
I hope that the youth of this country will listen to music like this. I think their lives will be transformed.
Right. What's on your mind this morning?
Yeah. Good morning to our cherry viewers out there, and then the members of the Convention People's Party, especially my chairman, Wing Commander Nelson Sobojo, retired, the chairman of the interim independent committee of the Convention People's Party. In your intro, you mentioned it. We've been mandated to see to the day-to-day activities of the party and take the party to Congress. And what's on my mind, there's something that we don't pay attention to when it comes to women, recognition of women. We have the International Women's Day, but we have the AU Day too, African Women's Day, which is not mostly celebrated. So this year, 31st of July is the African Women's Day, and the African Women Leadership Network Ghana branch, led by no less a person by somebody who was with the GTV. You remember Dr. Charity Binka. She's our chair. We are honoring distinguished ladies and gentlemen because, if you just concentrate on honoring only women, when you need support, the men will not mind you. So we are doing that on the 31st of August at the Labadi Beach Hotel. I think Monday you will host us here. I think we are coming here to elaborate on what we are going to do on that day. I think we have to celebrate. We have some unsung heroines and heroes in this country that are not being celebrated. That is what we are going to do on Wednesday. Thelma, you are invited.
Thank you. I might not be in town, but I'll be with you in spirit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But your team are coming.
Yes.
GTV will be fully represented.
Will be very well represented
by the Director General.
Yeah. Thank you.
It should be there. So, I think when you come to I saw something. I don't know how authentic that is. Things are a bit expensive, especially tomatoes. And I saw a write-up, or is it a publication, where the Minister of Agriculture is saying that now tomato, the box is 400 Ghana cedis or 500 Ghana cedis from the, is it 1,500?
The cost of tomato.
Yes, so I hope and pray that it will reflect in our markets. I've said it once here. I think we can help ourselves because if you go and take a box of tomato for 400 Ghana cedis and you come and sell 2 pieces for 10 cedis,
right,
I think it is something else. So we are praying that things will normalize for us too. Now that Tabitha
Thank you,
is here,
Hadia.
maybe she will tell
Tabitha
us.
has joined our conversation. Tabitha Ayala is a member of the National Communications team for the NPP, and she's joined our chat. Tabitha, thank you for making the time. I'll come to you shortly, but we have a rather disturbing, I mean, it's happy and sad at the same time story on the front page of today's edition of the Daily Graphic, which talks about the 12 people who have been on remand without trial for over 10 years, and they have been released. Mind you, these people were at the Nsawam Medium Security Prison in the Eastern Region. They've been there between a period of 13 months to 11 years. So over a period of 10 years, they've been in the prisons under charges from stealing, murder, and others. They have not been tried. They did not go to court to face any fair justice practices, but they were kept there, and now they've been released because of the Justice for All program. On our phone lines, we've been joined by human rights lawyer and MP for the Good People of Medina, lawyer Francis Sosu, to help us understand. Lawyer Sosu, thank you for making time. Honorable, how could this have happened? It sounds rather extreme for someone to be on remand for 12 years. Is that the norm? How did this happen?
Well, good morning to your cherished viewers. And good morning to the good people of Medina, and good morning to Ghana. I think this is a testament of the dysfunctional criminal justice system that we have, that tend to perpetrate injustice rather than deliver justice to the people of Ghana. The Constitution is very clear that justice emanates from the people and must be dispensed for and on behalf of the people. And every Ghanaian is entitled to enjoy their portion of justice. So anytime you accuse them, okay, it's okay that you accuse them, but the system has been such that when you take them through the processes, the systems of justice would not end up meting out injustice to them. But unfortunately, in several cases, this is what happens. And you can see an account of that in a recent book that I published titled Guilty Until Proven Innocent. Guilty until proven innocent. So the principle of law in our Constitution is that everyone charged with any offense is presumed to be innocent until proven guilty. Unfortunately, we have developed our system right from the time of complaint, the accusation, after you have been arrested, you have been cautioned, you've been charged, you've been arraigned before the court, and then the process of case management even before the trial begins. The system is such that once you have been accused, you are actually guilty before, through the system, you prove your innocence. If you are not able to work very hard to prove your innocence, you end up in prison. And that is what happens mostly for people who are remand prisoners. And this is not strange because I have been part of Justice for All program, which has released people who have been in prison sometimes up to like 19 years. Some have done cases like Francis Ejari, which was one of those cases that I fought for compensation for in the past. He was in prison for on remand for over 14 years. And I recall even the one that, even a convict prisoner who was acquitted finally at the Supreme Court had served all the 15 years in hard labor. So these are all evidence of a dysfunctional criminal justice system, because if you have a system that is meant to punish people who are wrong, who have committed wrong, and the system end up actually aggravating their situation, then that is wrong. So for all these 4 people, honestly, they should be entitled to some compensation under our laws. And in fact, they are the reasons why I began also a compensation bill last time in Parliament as one of those private bills that I brought to Parliament. Because there are several cases like that where people are just, after investigation, they are thrown to prison. Sometimes their dockets get lost and nobody follows up again. Investigators don't follow up. Once they are remanded, nobody follows up. And they remain in remand prison forever. So if you don't have good counsel that will be following your case, that's the end of you.
Lawyer, who dropped the ball here? Who should we hold responsible for this? Is it one particular person, or as you've explained, a failure, general failure in the actual structure and the system itself that has these loopholes?
So when you look at what I propose to be the private members bill for compensation for people who are wrongfully arrested, wrongfully detained and all that, you would realize that I was trying to create obligation on each actor in the criminal justice system. So for example, if you are an investigator and you are supposed to be in charge of a suspect, and the suspect is in your custody, when the person is remanded, then you have a duty anytime the case is called for you to bring the suspect to court. If there's a reason why you can't bring the suspect to court, mostly people will complain that, oh, they didn't have a car, they didn't have this thing, that's the police service. We didn't have a car to bring it to start as the prison service. No, the police may say that they didn't have a car to go to the prison. The prison service said they didn't have notice to bring the person to court. And so you see, from the police investigator who is supposed to be in charge, to the state prosecutor or the state attorney who is prosecuting the matter, to the prison officers who are holding the person, all of them are equally liable. Because you should know, the system should be such that if a person is in the prison and is not going to court, the prison officers by themselves can make an application to the court that this person has been kept there for this number of years and we are not hearing anything from them. So we are making an application. Now, the prison officers currently, the current status quo does not allow them to do that. And so the investigators are too busy to follow up. The state attorneys who are supposed to be prosecuting this matter, or the police prosecutors who are prosecuting this matter, who have a number of cases, are not able to even track the cases that they have who are on remand that they have not even followed up on. And then even the court, as an institution, does not also have a system of, auditing these cases from time to time to know that, look, I have this number of cases before me. This person has been put on remand for such and such, and they haven't returned back to court in the last, say, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. What is happening? We don't have all this. So it's a systemic failure that is meting out injustice to the poor people of Ghana.
Justice Effiasewa Asare-Botwe, who addressed the media, referenced the constitutional provision that says that keeping accused persons behind bars without trial is a clear violation, Article 14(4) of the 1992 Constitution. And the provision requires that a person should be tried within a reasonable time. In that vein, she did have problems with reasonable time, the wording, saying that there's no clarity on what constitutes reasonable time as provided for in the Constitution. One of the accused persons had not been in court in 7 years. He had been accused of murder, and it was a 51-year-old Nana Kwame Bedu, one of the people who was released. Another, a younger gentleman who was accused of stealing an ITEL phone, had also not been in court, had been on remand for 13 months without trial. This reasonable time, are we now to expect some clarity from the courts on what constitutes a reasonable time?
I think that the court in a number of cases have actually attempted to explain what would amount to a reasonable time. And I know every active defense attorney who have been involved in this space, criminal justice, would know that there are many times you go to court and maybe you go even for bail application and the judge will tell you that, well, the person has just been on remand for, say, a month or 2 or 3 months. And so maybe you may have to repeat the application. And there are times that we repeat those applications. Sometimes once you are consistent with that, sometimes a court may determine that 6 months is reasonable, or 12 months is reasonable, or say 18 months is reasonable. If that space has been left to the discretion of the trial judge, I think the problem is actually not about the reasonable time. The problem is the lack of action and lack of proper systems that track cases of persons who are on remand or pre-trial detainees. Because from the issue is not whether the person has been kept within reasonable or unreasonable time. The issue is that why do you leave them there without going through the trial? You see, it is only in Ghana that people will go and accuse people, right, before police will now start looking for evidence about the accusation. In other jurisdictions, when you make a complaint, the police takes a complaint, will take all the evidence that you have, will take statements, begin to talk to people quietly, and when they have established a clear case against a particular individual, then they go ahead and get a person arrested. But Ghana, once they see that somebody come and say that, oh, this guy, this guy has done this, they will come and arrest you. After arresting you, then they will purport to detain you ostensibly so they can conduct investigation. I'm like, why would you? So anytime they come to court and they are asking for remand, they say investigation is still ongoing. If investigation is still ongoing, why do you bring the person and get the person remanded?
Right. So
why won't you finish your investigation before you put the people before the court?
In this case, what can these persons who have been released, what can they do now? What options are available for them now? Can they demand compensation?
Absolutely. They have a course of action against the state for wrongful violation of their rights. You see, they've been violated. Their right to freedom of, liberty has been violated. Article 15, which is the inviolability of our human dignity, has been violated. And so they definitely have a right to go to court and seek for compensation against the state.
Lawyer, thank you for speaking with us this morning.
The pleasure
I appreciate your perspectives on the matter. Lawyer Francis Ave-Sosu is a human rights lawyer and MP for Medina constituency. Initially, I said the good people, but I think he's MP for the not so good people as well. So everybody in Medina, that's your MP. Hajia and Tabitha, this situation, this story on the front page of the graphic is worrying for me on several fronts, because one of the men who was released is a 51-year-old. So if he's been in prison for about 11 years, as the story is reporting, it means he went in when he was a 40-year-old man accused of murder, and he's lost that entire time. If he had children before, the children have spent 10 years without him. He hasn't worked for 10 years, and it's a situation the lawyer is telling us is because the system is just dysfunctional. I'll take your quick thoughts and then we
yes, it's a very serious problem. You know, when you go to the prisons, you even see somebody who stole plantain, is jailed for 4 years, and you ask of the age, maybe the person is about 18 or 19 years. You add the 5 years jail plus 19, that takes us to about 24 years. That's if he's lucky, then he might come out. But I think the system is such that we have to be very, very careful. Somebody is being accused. You know, it's not only in this country. Let's be realistic and be fair to the justice system. But I think more investigation should be done. But you see, if it's murder, it's very, very difficult to release the person on bail whilst investigation is going on. But I don't know whether it's a bailable offense or something. We have to ask the lawyers. But, you know, this system of getting people who were wrongly jailed out of prison is very, very good.
Because they haven't even been found guilty.
Yes.
These are remand prisons. It means that the cases
somebody
have not
was
been concluded.
remanded
No
for
judgments
8
have been
years.
pronounced.
There was a guy who was there for 8 years. I don't know whether this, but it's not all GTV who is doing that program.
Our reporters are
no, there's a particular man.
Crime Check?
Yes, I think so. Who goes to the prisons and
Crime Check.
Hear some story.
Ibrahim.
I met him last week on a flight to Kumasi. He was moving with a very young person. I don't know, maybe that person too had a problem and he was going to do some investigations. Because our prisons are already choked. And then you go and put people whose cases have not been heard. You go and put somebody, remand. Some people are even called condemned reminders. That they put them on remind. They even forgot about them. If you don't have a family who is very active to maybe follow your case, get a lawyer who can speak for you, then you even die there without people even knowing that you are there. And I can tell you, Thelma, let's go to the biggest prison that's in Sawam and make a roll call. Maybe half of them, people, they have forgotten of them.
Tabitha, what do you think? We just spoke to a human rights lawyer, and he says that it's the system, and it's hard to put the blame on one particular person or institution because several stakeholders have roles to play in there.
Sure. Good morning. I think
you can join the conversation if you're watching us. Our WhatsApp number is 055-55-61034. Let us hear your thoughts on this matter that we are discussing. 12 persons have been freed, and they've been in jail for 10 years, give or take, without seeing the courtroom for several years, without seeing a judgment for several years. But they have been there. Thankfully, the Justice for All program is addressing some of these issues, and today the graphic is reporting that 12 of such persons have been released. The lawyer says they can't sue the state for compensation for the lost time. And at the table, Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim of the CPP and Tabitha Ila of the NPP are my guests. Tabitha.
Yes, so it's unfortunate, and I have to sympathize with the victims of this. It's a crime that the nation has done against them. Fine, there are systemic failures that didn't support them, and there is also the part where family and friends too didn't support them. And so this is a very sad situation.
What can a family member do?
You know,
the state has structures, or should have structures,
that
so
can
that
take care.
The tracks, you hit the tracks and it takes you to a certain destination.
Yes, but you know, the system is still not so strong. Let's not deceive ourselves. Ghana, we are still building Ghana. We are still building more institutions. Let me even chip in this. You know, so far, Akufo-Addo's administration has been able to build 120 new courts. One of the reasons why some of these cases were delayed is largely because there were no places where they could, you understand, handle those cases. And so you see the government coming in, stepping in to build more courthouses. And from what I have read so far, they have built over 120 courthouses. Not only that, they have also built accommodation, this thing for the workers, the court workers. And also they've introduced what they call the shift system in the court system, where they have the morning session and the evening session. This is all to help them handle cases that are delaying in our courts. And so I think the government is doing something about some of these things, because we can't have people denied their freedom. I'm only accused, but I'm not yet found guilty. You can't be arrested for a crime you never committed. You understand? And I always use Jesus Christ as a classical example. Jesus never committed a crime, but he was convicted. And the people said, the king said, I don't find anything wrong with this man. But the people were still saying that, give us his head. And so there are times that people may just be at prisons or whatever, but are not guilty of any crime whatsoever. And so let me use this opportunity to commend the government for making it possible for Ghana to have an additional 120 courthouses built, and even accommodation facilities given to the courthouses, the judges or the people that are in charge of the courts. For when it comes to our court system, okay, at times you need an expert to handle it. You need a lawyer and all that. There are times that the nation or the state is not able to provide you with a counsel. This is where family and friends step in to help you with a legal representative. But when you don't have a legal representative, who goes to ensure that your case is being heard? Who makes sure that you are being
the state has a responsibility to ensure that somebody is assigned to your case.
Sure.
If you cannot afford.
That's why I said that is true, but the state is not able to do it. And so this is where family and friends can also step in and help salvage the problem. I hope you're understanding me. And so it's a very big problem, and we are still building the structures. Ghana is a developing country, and I have already told you the efforts that this government has done so far. Compared to what the NDC did, they built only 3. Mahama built only 3 courthouses, in addition to the existing ones.
But it's a historic failure in the structure.
That is what I'm saying.
So it's not just under an NDC administration
that is why
or
I'm
an
saying
NPP
that
administration.
This government has made the effort.
As is its responsibility.
Yes, you understand. It was also their responsibility, but they failed. To have a government come and build over 120 courthouses, that's unprecedented. 120 courthouses, that's so much. And to also introduce the shift system in our court system so that more, cases can be heard. So that people wouldn't have to be victims of the system. Because it is a systemic failure. And anybody at all can be a victim to this. And so I will say that this government has done so well so far, though there is more to be done, but comparatively, because we are competing, we are in an election year. We need to make it clear for people to understand that somebody is doing his or her work, but another is not doing. That is why I compared it with the NDC, and I said so far, JM was only able to build 3 courthouses. But Akufo-Addo and the Bawumia government has been able to build 120 courthouses in addition to the existing courthouses. Not only that, they have also introduced the shift system in our court system. And so these are measures that the government is deliberately taking to ensure that some of these things don't happen in the future.
We saw some developments and structures being built. The Supreme Court building was renovated under an NDC administration. New court buildings were built in Kumasi, Tamale, and Sekondi, Takoradi. We saw the 12-story court complex built in Accra under an NDC administration. So it's not that
I'm talking about not renovations. That is why I made mention that they built those that they initiated and finished.
So I'm making some checks now, and they're saying 150 courts were built under an NDC administration. 100 new courts between 2009 and 2012.
I don't know where you are getting this feed.
I'll send it to you so that you cross-check them as well.
Yes.
So some things were done. What I'm saying is, if we make it an NDC versus NPP, what did this person do? We lose these 12 people. We lose the human factor, the feeling of these 12 people who have been let down by their own country. That's my suggestion.
That is true. That is why I'm saying that it is unfortunate that they fell victim to the system. But I am also putting across the efforts that this government has done so far to ensure that more people do not fall victim. This is what I want to put across. And another thing is that, we are a developing country. We don't have everything. We are still building the system. And I remember when Barack Obama came to our country, he said something, that we should make sure that we build the system very well. That's the only way we can we can develop. And I have seen and I've realized that this government has committed itself to building systems. That is why, so far, because of the mobile money interoperability and other digital platforms that the government has been able to put in place, they are introducing what they call the credit scoring system. In future, that is if they should...
Help me understand how that links with persons who are in prison and they are on remand.
You know, I am moving away
presumably
from...
they don't have access to funds. I want to see the link with this interoperability. You've lost
Yes,
me.
the reason why I'm bringing it in is that I'm talking about building systems. I have moved away from the court system, and I'm talking about
so you set your own exam question.
Yes. No, I'm not setting my own. I'm only saying that, you know, we are building the system. And this government is committed to building the system.
Right. Hajia, yes.
I think, Tabitha, you agree with me that even if we have 200 courts building and the system, as you are saying, is not working, people will still suffer. After building the courts, what next? Because we have the police that are supposed to be the prosecutors.
And if they don't have vehicles?
And if they don't have vehicles, if they don't have the capacity, and then
let her finish,
and all the necessary things that will make their work so easy, because I don't see why somebody should be in remand for 8 years. So the police must come to also answer. Is it that they didn't have fuel in their vehicle to go and bring the prisoners to court or what? Because if it's anything at all, we've been hearing that president or leadership are giving police the equipment to be effective. So they should come and tell us the reason why, because they do the prosecution.
Okay, I'll let Tabitha respond.
Yes, so with the police, as you mentioned, we know so far that the government has been able to resource them with 4,000 motorbikes to help them with the work that they do. Apart from that, they have also introduced other systems of combating crime. For instance, the K9 system that they have introduced, they have also given them choppers to help them with the work that they do. They've also given them facilities, accommodation facilities. I don't know whether you, I think that was on Tuesday or was it on Wednesday that they went and unveiled the over 320 facilities for them, adding on to an existing one which is totaling 1,000 residential facilities that they've given to the police service. You know, as I indicated, we are building the nation. It's a step-by-step thing. You can't have it done.
It's not a perfect system.
Yes, but we are building it. That's why I'm saying that, look, there's commitment. The government is committing itself to building the system. And so it's unfortunate that they've had this experience. And as the lawyer indicated, he said that they can ask for compensation. And I think this is where they can come together, the 12 can come together, look for one lawyer, for them to take some compensation from the state. Because we have all failed them. We have all failed them.
Yeah, I think I'll support the compensation being demanded by their lawyer, because you cannot waste somebody's 8 years without trial. But Selma, somebody sent, one of our members sent a message. You know, the program I said we're going to have on the 31st, that I mentioned August, instead of July, because it's just next Wednesday.
Yeah, it's just next Wednesday.
Yes, it's next Wednesday.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Yesterday, Child Rights International had cause to come to the public to bring attention to something, a matter that has been quite disturbing in recent times about the deaths of students in schools. The story is that a number of students have been let down by the school authorities when they had reported with whether it's illness and they've not been attended to, and a number of them have died. Today, the Ghanaian Times leads with that story on its front page. At least 4 boarding students have died in 4 senior high schools between February and July this year due to untreated illnesses worsened by alleged negligence from school authorities. And the Chief Executive Officer of the Child Rights International, Brighter Pear, who disclosed this, said the death occurred at Ghana National College, Ebri Girls SHS, Achim Swedru SHS, and Kaupohin SHS. At the press conference in Accra yesterday, he said the disturbing trend has gone on for many years and it's showing a pattern of neglect towards the welfare of students, which requires urgent attention. So these are some of the issues he highlighted. And he's calling for education authorities to prioritize children's rights above institutional reputation and to ensure that the policies always serve the best interest of the child. Mr. Pierce said schools should invest in upgraded infirmaries staffed by trained professionals and well-equipped persons to handle both routine health issues and also emergency. So at that press conference, a few issues came up. I don't know if you followed it, but this is a quick summary of what has happened.
On small
okay,
arms,
Tabitha,
yes,
did it come to your attention?
This particular issue is disturbing. From what I know, is that all secondary schools have a resident nurse. That's
Should
one
have.
They have. Should. Most of them have. I'm yet to.
So you said all secondary schools have, and now you're saying most. So I'm saying they should all secondary schools.
They are all
have.
supposed to have.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying that. To the best of my knowledge, they are all supposed to have. And so far, all the secondary schools that I know, they have a resident nurse. Now, another thing I know is that before they admit you to the boarding house, they will require that you show that you have a valid health insurance card. Valid for good reasons. Because apart from the school attending to you, it is possible that they can refer you, and your parents are not at hand to provide money. But with your health insurance card, the school can send you to the nearest health facility for better checkup. Another thing, you know, some of these students, I don't know the actual what happened, but one thing I do know is that at times the students will be sick and they will not own up. They won't come for medical attention. And if you are a house mistress or a house master who doesn't pay close attention to students, you wouldn't know that this student is sick.
But there are also times when students have come and they've said that I'm sick, I want to go to the hospital, and they have not been given exeats. And some people will say, no, you are not sick, you are just trying to escape schoolwork or, you know, something.
You know, I have always maintained that, look, when a student comes to you saying that I am sick, do not be in the position of verifying whether the person is sick or not, because you are not a medical expert. What you do is that give the child an exit, let the child go, and ensure that you do a follow-up. When you get there, let me have the contact of the health personnel. They will write everything, because the school will give you a card for the medical attention you'll be going for. And from there, the school can make a checkup to see whether it is true that the student visited them or not. So I think there is a failure somewhere. There is a problem somewhere. If not, as a teacher who is not a qualified medical expert, do not be in the position of telling a student that you are not sick and I wouldn't give you a sick leave.
Right.
What you need to do is that let the child go, but do a follow-up to ensure that the child actually went to the health post.
Hajia, weigh in.
Yeah, yes. It's most unfortunate because I think all of us have gone through a boarding school where we have what we call a sick bay. When you are not well, maybe your temperature will be examined. If it's maybe you're supposed to be giving first aid, you'll be giving that first aid. But when they realize that maybe it will be difficult for them to handle it, they will allow the school, what we call Bonshika data or school Benz bus, will take you to the hospital, because I experienced that in Big Boss. Fast forward, I have a daughter in one of the schools in Kumasi, a girls' school, Ahmadiyya school there. Whenever she's not doing well, as Tabitha said, they'll go with her health insurance card and they'll call the parents. This Khadija is not well. We've taken her to the hospital, so she's on admission. Then I will call Kumasi, because we have relatives there, to go and check her. Maybe if there are some extra costs that the parents is supposed to do, then we'll just move for them to take care of the other expenses. The same thing when my niece was at Suhum Girls. I just have here, good morning. The same thing. When she's not feeling fine, they go to the Nsawam government hospital, because that's where they use the health insurance. After which, even if she's on admission like this, what I've said, they will call us, they will contact us. So it will be very difficult for me to understand that a child is sick report to the authorities, and you are not sick, so go back. Because it got to a time, the one in Suhum, she's now in university second year anyway, they will call and say that the situation is such that we think we want her to come home for further treatment. That is the arrangement. So it is difficult for me to understand, because all those with me, my kids, everybody, have not experienced a situation whereby the headmaster or the senior housemaster will say that he or she will not give them exit to come home because they are not well. So I think this particular schools that you've mentioned, the gentleman mentioned about they should see to the welfare of the children more than the reputation of the school. When somebody dies in your school, that reputation will rather be dented. You understand? So I don't see even why he should even mention it, because if my daughter is in Ebri school and she's not well, she was not well taken care of, and then maybe she passed on, we'll ask, where is she? She's in Ebri school. But her friends told me she was not too well, but the authority refused, because one school like that, some of the friends reported that the child was sick. They reported, they carried the person to, and then something like that. The person died. I don't know which of the 4 schools that you have mentioned. So I think authorities must be up and doing. We entrust our children into them because we have confidence in them. Somebody will be in Bolgatanga.
Hadia, hold your thoughts for a moment. Let's engage the Chief Executive of Child Rights International, Mr. Bright Appiah, on this matter. Thank you for making the time. I'm reading the account in the Times, and you're expressing concern about the absence of clear guidelines which have resulted in inconsistent standards of care across various institutions. And you're saying that this is leaving students vulnerable to gaps in support and oversight. Help me understand what gaps in the support and oversight you have identified.
What we've identified has to do with the fact that the first services that have been provided for our children are based on people's discretion as to whether this child would need a medical care or not. So you don't see the flow of the services that people can give to children on the basis of urgency, and then also on the basis of welfare. So you realize that a lot of them were doing it either because they are passionate about their work, or they feel that they are showing concern about a particular student, or they love the student, so they are showing that kind of kindness to the child, and it's not even coming from a position of policy. So that makes it a bit difficult. So if, for instance, you are a student and no teacher likes you in the school, then you are on your own. And that, for me, results into some of the things that we are seeing now. And again, you realize that the families that they have in the schools is not properly managed. You go there, in some schools, one of the 4 schools that were mentioned, one of the students went there and was a colleague student who was managing the place. So you don't get the professionals to be in that environment to be able to diagnose the exact situation and what kind of medication that they need to give you. So clearly you see that there's some level of inconsistency in the application of the services that they have to render to children, and then also the issuance of exit, because that all the cases that we have reported, the exit were issued late. So you realize that, yes, the condition started in the school, and because the school wanted to exonerate themselves from any liabilities, they will quickly issue the exit at the later date that the condition cannot be repaired. So all these things come back to the point that we are raising, that, look, we need to have some consistency, and that's what we have identified as the gap that exists in terms of how regulations and policy work in our school system.
What actions are you asking for? And I'm sure you're asking this of the GES. Your call for action to do what?
To put all the measures in place, because if the current average population of our secondary school is over 1,000, so clearly a population of that nature, you would come to the conclusion that most of our schools are self-contained community. So services must be available for people who participate in that environment. And all kinds of services must be available. If it's a clinic, we need to have it. If it's a counseling unit, we need to have it. If it is a social welfare officer that we need in that environment, we need to also place all those services available to our children. So it calls for a policy reform. Then again, we are looking at the exam system, that there should be a platform where the issuance of exam will be based on a certain criteria so that people do not use their own discretion to determine when and how they have to issue that exam. And then we are also saying that the school environment must also look at the best interest of children. So whosoever works in that environment is because we have dedicated that environment for learning, and the students that are beneficiary of those environments. So they have to pay more attention to their welfare and their well-being than to look at the integrity or the reputation of the school, so that when things happen, they can take proactive steps to address it before it gets out of hand.
Right, we'll save a seat here at the table for you. One of these days, I think we should have you in studio so we can talk about some of these matters and others that affect children with regard to their pursuit of education. Thank you for making the time to speak to us this morning. Right up here is the Chief Executive of Child Rights International, calling on the government to put the structures in place to keep students safe in our boarding schools. Ladies, I'll take your final comments before we wrap. From the table, Tabitha, what's on your mind? I'm giving you 2 minutes now.
Yes, I would like to plead with school authorities, okay, to not take the law into their own hands. When a child is sick, first things first, call the parents, let them be aware that you are releasing their child or you are sending the child to the hospital and that they should come and take over. Let them be in the known from the beginning. You can't use your eyes to determine whether somebody is sick. So when a child is sick, make sure you give the child the right medical attention. And another thing is that students should also be taught to speak up. I know some students who will fall sick and will keep it to themselves and wouldn't like to voice it out until it gets to like the very serious stage of their sickness. Another thing, some have sicknesses that they don't want to talk about. But let's not forget that before you go to the boarding house, they will ask you to tell them if you have any sickness, so that they are made aware. Even the feeding, they can make arrangements for you because you have a special need. Yes, so parents shouldn't shy away from discussing the medical challenges that their wards have with the schools. I think this is what I have to say.
Right. Haja, last word?
Yes, this is a topic that I think we'll continue to talk about. It's because of our children. And I think the awareness creation must be very, very effective in the schools. I quite remember when I was in Big Boss, Form 1, our headmaster was called Bayala. Every Monday, assembly. There are issues that will be discussed at the assembly, maybe if there are problems. Because I remember when I went to Form 1, the Form 4, 5 people were troubling us. And I had to go and tell him because I was like, why should I come to school and be bullied? So every morning, every Monday, General Assembly, he would call. And even call the students who was disturbed by anybody. And then they will warn you in front of the whole school to stop disturbing the Form 1 and Form 2, because if you do that, when they go, they will not come back to school again. They might think that it's a place that they will not come and enjoy their learning. So I think parents let's also get involved in our children's affairs. Before a child will go to a boarding house, at least as a responsible parent, you have to talk to your child when you are sick. Your headmistress or your headmistress or your housemaster, go and tell the house. Don't tell your fellow friend, because your friend cannot. So I think it is an ongoing conversation that we have to engage ourselves, because it is very, very important. When we start hearing news of people dying or children dying in school, it will put some kind of fear in parents. They'll say, well, maybe this school, because a school like Eburi has attained some level of this thing in this country. Ghana National.
All children should be safe everywhere. Ladies, thank you for sitting with us this morning. Tabitha Ayala is a member of the National Communications team for the NPP. Tabi, thank you so much. And Hajia Hamdatu Ibrahim Hussein is a member of the Interim Independent Committee set up by the CPP. Thank you for making the time. The EC is going to conduct a mop-up registration from August 1 to 3, so take note of those dates. If you have not registered, we'll bring you further details in the coming days. But this has been our segment. We'll take a quick break. When we return, there's more to expect on this breakfast show. We'll be right back.
appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
Hi, thank you very much for staying with us. You're still watching GTV Breakfast. My name is Darrell Allen Tego, and others segment or this point, we're really going to be talking church and everything church. Social media platforms have become powerful tools for spiritual growth, offering new ways for individuals to, as it were, do church or organize church services. But it doesn't just happen as it is, that it is church as usual. It has its own lows and highs. It has its own ways of motivating church conductors, motivating members, reasons why members would want to stay on or out of church. To understand the things and issues surrounding technology and church, we've been joined by Prophet Fodjo. Prophet Fodjo is going to help us understand the impact of technology or virtual platforms in church services. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
God is helping us.
I think the last time we had a discussion, it was to do with church, but was to do with something else that you were getting involved with, a project you're heading.
Yes.
I don't know.
That was last year. I was invited to speak with Kafude.
Yes.
I spoke about Invasion Ghana and something about the prophetic ministry as well.
Oh, so this time you're with Reverend Bempa.
Yes, Dr. Bempa.
Dr. Bempa, yes. Dr. Bempa is my father.
Oh, wow. That's a blessing, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Anyway, so tell us, how has virtual platforms enhanced church?
All right, so thank you so much. So I think before we talk about the virtual church, let's talk about the church in person.
Yeah.
You know, the whole idea about the church is God giving us the ability to come together as God's people to live His life. You know, most of the times in our dispensation, people have this perception that serving the Lord from the comfort of my home is more important than gathering as God's people. But like I said, once we meet as God's people to live the life He has meant for us, that becomes the definition of the church.
But that would be a direct contradiction to what Scripture calls on Christians to do, not to forego the assembly of the brethren.
Yes.
And so if you're advocating for being in the comfort of your home and serving God, then of course you are working contrary to what Scripture
directs. So I end comforting to the fact that people have to live in the comfort of their homes. Okay. I'm just saying that once people understand that we are living as God's people to exhibit other things that God represents, that becomes the life of God as a church. You know, beyond we meeting as God's people, it's more of living the life of Christ. If it really makes sense. You see, people can gather as God's people and understand why they are gathering.
Okay.
You see, God characterizes our lives as a core factor of bringing about kingdom experience. So God says, let them gather to ensure that we become everything He is, as God represents in the Spirit.
Right. So let's zoom into the actual subject. How has social media platforms, or what are the benefits of social media platforms in building spirituality or enhancing the spirituality of church members?
That's quite contradicting, though. Let me say this here. So social media has helped us in a way, helped the church in a way, as in reaching to other countries, reaching to other platforms with ease. As I'm speaking now, somebody may watch me from Belgium, from Germany, from USA. So some way, somebody has been informed that, okay, with social media handle, we've helped people hear the gospel. People can easily access the gospel as well. Not like before, years ago, we had to have to travel to go to a place. I mean, you can literally watch service from the comfort of your home. So some way, someone has given us easy access, easy conversation.
But has that enhanced our individual spiritual growth?
So for that, I beg to differ.
Okay.
Because you see, when people are too comfortable, they lose the purpose of a thing.
Sure.
You see, nothing in life was ever created to be built in comfort. So if everything about life is built in comfortability, people lose why it was created. So I will not really say it has enhanced in spirituality when it comes to people's growth, but more in the expansion of the man's vision.
But so can social media, in the way and form it is today, help in perhaps promoting spiritual growth?
Yes.
In what way?
All right. So, for instance, if a man of God preaches a message on social media and it goes viral on social media, some way, somehow, people get to witness God's power through the man's message. So, when it's got to do with you having the access to have a wider span of reach, some way, somehow, social media helps with that.
But empirically, let's look at the evidence currently available and what we're looking forward to learning from taking advantage of social media platforms. It would be really very difficult to measure the impact of your ministration on social media on the individual who would have been a contact person were they to be in your presence in church. How can we change this to have a reflection of what reality will be as opposed to virtuality?
All right. So, like I said, we live in a modern day world where I think everything is being done through social media. So some people, you might never meet them in person. You might only meet them online. But I think the only difference they have is the character they live by.
Has that changed their core church? Has social media affected the core church?
In a way. In a way, in a sense that, like I said earlier on, some people just feel comfortable watching from the homes, from the offices, right? But back to what I was saying before, man of God, that once people have understanding that characters all that they have, at least somehow that becomes a bit of defense. But we will not condone to the fact that people should stay in the home and watch services. Some way, somehow, find a way to partner with an in-person church because God actually endorses that.
Right. I'd want us to look at how, from a personal experience point of view, the advent of social media and in the wake of COVID, churches have suffered. COVID presented a priceless opportunity to churches to learn new ways, but church members did not learn new ways. The new ways they learned is to come on social media platforms when service is ongoing.
Yes.
And then mute their microphones and wander off to do other things. Given this, how do you expect, or in what way can the church encourage members not to mute microphones, go out and do their own things, but be present if they join a service online?
All right, let me say this here. So I believe that COVID did not kill any church. COVID exposed the dead churches.
Well, it did.
I get to be. So as people getting to watch the service online and getting to do other things, I feel that's more of people's personal choice.
Okay. But doesn't that say something towards people's commitment?
Exactly. You see, when people are comfortable, they act in a different way. Especially when they feel that people are not looking at them.
Right.
But you see, our service to God is spiritual in the sense that God wants us to know that even if no one is seeing us, He's seeing us. And how we have towards things will really matter a lot. So let's tell people that when they come on social media to join service, it's more about the heart they have. Presence has got to do with the heart. Once the heart is blocked, there are many things you can have access to. So you might be distant, but at least let the heart be ready for God to bless you.
Has social media made just the member comfortable, or it also made the pastor comfortable?
Well, so it depends on who the pastor is.
Okay.
In what sense? When God calls you, He gives you a vision, but He doesn't give you a passion.
Right.
He expects the vision to give a passion, so you know how to walk in the honor of the vision given to your life. So sometimes some pastors may feel that let me use this opportunity to even rest more, or even learn new ways in advancing the ministry. So it depends on who is in the work.
Do you think, in the advent of social media, the pastor will be able to keep up with the Great Commission?
It depends on who, like I already said. It depends on who. You see, I believe that every opportunity...
Well, because if, as you're saying, it provides the opportunity to meet persons you would never meet in contact.
Yes.
If that is what it is, then why will I go to Samaria? Why would I go to the ends of the world if I have, at the click of a button, I could be in Jerusalem? Somebody could be watching or listening to me in faraway Australia. I would not have to go.
I get it all right. You see, so like I said, every opportunity life presents has its own benefits. So the benefit of social media now is that God gives you the grace of accessing certain heights that probably you may have never had a chance of accessing. But that doesn't mean that people should stay there. Like I already said, and I believe that people must understand that it's a new phase that God has given unto us that He wants us to take opportunity of, but the real work remains the real work. God really wants us to invade places as well, as in coming together as God's people to unite in prayer and to see His face.
Taking on to unite in prayer, let's look at effectiveness. has social media enhanced effectiveness of members as well as church conductors?
I believe some way, somehow.
How?
You know, during the COVID time,
yes,
people came up with a lot of prayer groups. And some people were quite disappointed because they didn't have that understanding of the times we are in. You know, God calls a wise man a man who understands times and seasons.
Yes.
So having people to understand how God operates at that time, give people the chance of seeing God in a different way. Some people grew up in church and never grew up in Christ.
Right.
There's a strong difference between growing up in church and growing up in Christ. So having people understand that, you know, these are the seasons I'm in, give them a chance of seeing God in a different way. Some were blessed, some were perplexed. So it depends on who. But I believe that some online platforms through integrity has given us the grace to understand God in person. So some prayed and some actually depleted. It depends on who, like I said.
Right. So let's look at some of the activities we do in church. One key is testimony.
Yes.
So my sharing my testimony will motivate a brother, you know, and in the context of iron sharpening iron, sharing of testimonies on social media. Has that exposed members to areas where they would rather they didn't tell their story? And how has that also been effective in encouraging members?
Oh, I get it. So, like, you see, testimonies remain the same. Even if it's been meant to share on social media, it still remains the same. It's about their life being transformed. You know, some people were shy standing in front of churches.
Yes.
Just imagine about 3,000 seats at church and then you're like...
Yeah, but you're standing in front of millions.
Yes. But you know, when people are comfortable, it's quite different. I'm telling you. You see, speaking from the comfort of your home makes you quite different. Now, some people build their comfort build their confidence in comfort, let me say so. But if it isn't effective of understanding life from God's perspective, let me say so. But some were like, you know, for 3 years now, I do my meetings on social media, I work on social media, so some way, somehow, the confidence was built. Again, but it depends, like I said, it depends on who is doing that work.
Now, let's look at how that also balances the financial effectiveness of the pastor. Indeed, the pastor doesn't own a factory. His factory is the church. He doesn't sell anywhere in a shop. His is the church. And in fact, in the context of a doctor attending to patients, that's the role of the pastor. He shepherds them, he encourages them, motivates them, and prays with them. Financially, he depends on the church. Social media took away part of the church's financial strength so that it took only committed members to send their tithes and their offering via Momo or electronically if they so wish. Now, how do you balance that where the pastor is committed to pastoring but his sustenance is affected?
So I believe that every strong organization should have the understanding of knowing how to go about things. Every system that the world comes up with.
But strong organizations are built by men, by people.
By people.
And these same people are, you know...
And these same people build the social media handle as well. So some way, somehow, I do believe that they also came up with certain plans on how to go about things. You know, like I said before, every system that the world comes up with comes with new offers and opportunities. So even though some people may not be chance to give in services, I believe that electronically some were chance to do so. Now, you see, let me say this here. I don't think that some churches or some pastors were affected by the COVID financially. And I'll say why. You know, at times, God does things in a way that we may not even know ourselves, if it makes sense. I believe that some people actually built bigger financial, stability through the online services, in the sense that through the move that God were doing at that time, or what God was at that time, they opened people's understanding on how these things works. Because at that time, people knew that the funding was not just dependent on people helping the pastor, but living the life that God was about to have in expanding the kingdom purposes.
Let's look at youth membership of churches.
Yes.
Social media and its effect and contributing environmental factors. One, if I'm not exaggerating, 1 out of every 5 videos you see on social media will either have something to do with the pushing or promoting of sex and sexuality than it will be promoting the gospel. Now, nearly in Ghana, 1 out of every 4 young persons will tell you they're Christians. Has social media enhanced young persons' spirituality and spiritual growth for that matter?
You see, it depends on who's using the social media handle. Let me say this here. When people are given the chance to do what they feel like doing, people must be disciplined enough. Many people have this perception that since I have freedom, I can do what I feel like doing.
Yeah.
But it has never been so. In fact, when people are led by their emotions, they end up in commotions. When people feel that, let me just do what my heart tells me, they end up in depletion. So I do believe that some may profess to be Christians, but we know how deeply you are in Christ through the character you live by. So I believe that depending on who is using social media handle, it has either helped some and destroyed some. It depends on who.
So where will you draw the line in growing the youth population of your church to, as it were, if they have to be on social media, it should be in conformity with the Great Commission as opposed to doing other things? Where would you draw the line?
All right, so like I already said, I do believe that we will come up with systems, all right, whereby others will be checked on. Having online groups where some will somehow they submit to authority, even though we might not get to see the people in person, but at least they've been truthful to themselves that it isn't about what you say, but what you do. So with that, at least we would see certain changes by the things they profess.
What part of Invasion this year will be on social media?
Oh, on social media, the Invasion God wants us to have. Everything about Invasion we see on social media.
So from start to finish, we can monitor on social media?
Everything, from the beginning to the end.
And what if, to some extent, your expectations in terms of in-person numbers didn't turn up, but then you find when you monitor your numbers online, you have over 1 million people at any time watching, but the auditorium is virtually or half full?
I get it all right. You see, the whole idea of God bringing us together to ensure that we conform to his image. So the greatest preacher, which is Christ Jesus himself, didn't have up to 1,000 people follow him every time. In fact, he died with one person by his side. So even if you don't get to see thousands of people gather at his presence.
That comparison, rather, unfortunately, I must point out that during the days of Jesus Christ, the most expensive means of transport would have been on horseback.
Yes.
Right.
Or the boats.
And so if we're doing that comparison, we're not doing ourselves any favors.
I understand though, but let me say this here. We are living
we are people who are to observe times and seasons.
I know. So. I do believe that since we are doing things in honor of Christ Jesus, everything about our lives now relates to the past.
Sure.
So even if we are understanding seasons, this is also new to us. It's been there before.
Okay.
I get to be. So back to Invasion here. I do believe that even if we don't get that thousands we want in persons, once we know that we've done what God has called us for, and that's enough for us.
Why Invasion anyway?
Why Invasion? I believe that God has called us for one thing, and that is to live the life of purpose. We've been called by God's grace to ensure that everything God represents, a man becomes that in the spirit. In fact, the most definite way of explaining God in this end time is to ensure that people have the stature of communicating destiny in so many ways. So God says, invade them and redefine their lives.
You seem to be more focused on young persons. Why is it so?
Not just young persons. I think,
you seem to be.
Well, I think since I'm young, probably I may speak in honor of them, but basically God has called us into almost every sector of life, from the adults to the youngsters to the mini. It depends on who at the time. But I believe that in this end time, the youngsters have that vision of coming into the life.
Since we're talking online and church activities, what will you say is the best practice when conducting service online?
Well, the best service, in what sense? Let me understand.
Best practice, obviously what we do in person in our local churches, we tend to be slightly different when we come online because we want to portray or put out that view of this church is orderly, is, it ticks all the boxes in terms of discipline and everything.
Whatever I think that people do in person service can be online as well.
Okay.
It depends on who is leading the service. The same preaching you preach in person should be done online.
Yes.
And like I said, get the people to understand that what they're doing has got to do with they conforming to God's image even online as well. And that's be fine.
Do we have to be different when we know we're online, i.e. we're reaching millions of people at any time?
Well,
so we should paint a picture that makes the church look more like what it is in reality.
The church has got to do with the understanding we have concerning Christ Jesus. So even if it's got to do with whatever you do in person, whatever you did in person that God give you the access to hide should be done online as well. And that's be honest.
Right. Maybe let me look at the next one. So in terms of content,
yes,
what will you advocate be the best content in propagating the gospel online as opposed to what we do in person?
Making Jesus the face of everything.
Okay.
When it concerns content creating, people should be quite careful with the things they put out there. Sometimes in advocating people coming to church, you might end up changing the focus as well. Sometimes we do things just to ensure that people are excited in coming to church, but Jesus should be the factor and the foundation of everything.
Do you encourage churches to stay online and not necessarily spend time in building temples?
No, I believe that churches must spend time in building temples. I believe online is a season that God has called us into. A time is coming, we may not even have a chance to preach online, and the time will still be in person.
What makes you think there will be a time?
Jesus has said so. A time is coming, we can't preach the gospel again in person. Sorry, online. It's going to be in person. A time is coming, we can't even meet and talk about Jesus Christ. Because a time is coming, we will talk about the coming of Christ, whereby we will visibly see that indeed Christ is coming in no time. And so indeed it's coming in no time as well.
Are you going to put any time on it if you say no time?
I can't say so. Even Jesus himself said that even the sons don't even know when the king will return his glory.
Right. Let's be a bit forward-looking into the future. What would you say would be the future of Invasion?
Invasion. So I think God spoke to us 10 years ago that everything about Invasion has got to do with redefining human destinies. So we are going to see the lives of Christ, so the life of people living in honor of Christ himself, and people becoming all that God represents in the spirit. As simple as that.
Let me take us slightly back.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing Invasion?
So Invasion in Ghana specifically has been, this year happens now 4th year.
4th year.
But the Lord told me this 10 years ago.
Okay.
So we've done it in Belgium, in Germany, almost everywhere. God give us grace to ascend.
And what would you say has been the difference between the various years you've done Invasion in Ghana, and how different would this year's Invasion look?
All right. So with Invasion itself, particularly about the transformation of people's life. You know, the lives that God gives unto people are God's priorities. So people not understanding what God has called them into might end up in pain and in penury. So the difference has always been people understand that life as it is God himself.
Do you like playing on words?
No.
You seem to find a way to bring in a word and perhaps its opposite or its synonym, and you blend them really very well.
Well, I think I'm studying, that's why.
Study?
Yes.
Right, so what will be the future of Invasion? What are we looking forward to this year? What can we expect from this year's Invasion?
Right, so this year,
if we can fast forward to next year, how different would next year look?
God gave us Ephatha that says be open.
Yes, be open, yeah.
Be opened. I believe that some way, somehow, you can't access certain heights in the spirit until doors open unto you. Okay. The Bible says, lift up your heads, O ye gate, and be lifted up, O everlasting, so the King of glory may come in. So some way, somehow, you cannot command certain access until doors are open for you. So I believe that every doors in the lives of the elders closed through prayer will be opened, or not just prayer, and the understanding as well will be opened, and God give us access. And as I said, as time goes on in Invasion, I believe that lives will be transformed.
How was Kumasi last week?
2 weeks ago, it was powerful.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Yes.
How was it?
I mean, getting to see how souls were saved, just mind blowing. The souls were my priorities.
You seem to have gone for well-seasoned speakers. One of such speakers would be my father, Reverend Dr. Bempa. Why?
So 5 years ago, I met Dr. Bempa, at a conference. Okay. And I think the man of God I preached for introduced me to him. And just the love he showed me got me amazed. Yes, I shared the invitation with him and was very supportive about it. Last year, I had the same conference organized at the conference center.
Yeah, sure.
And he came and blessed us back time. And I told him what God told me about the invitation this year, and he accepted to partner with us.
So, what would be different from this year's Invasion, especially here in Accra, compared to what you experienced last year?
Yes, okay, well, so with last year's encounter, we had more of youngsters coming around. And having Reverend Dr. Member on this board, so we're having more of multi-dimensional people from all walks of life are coming around. But like I said, it's got nothing to do with us. It's got to do with those who are attending this conference.
Who are you expecting?
Everyone. Everyone.
And so, maybe look into that camera there and invite everyone.
If you're watching us from your homes on the 28th of July, this very Sunday at 5 p.m., I'm expecting you at the Holy Hill Chapel, Faith Cathedral, Assemblies of God Church behind the GCB Towers, Circle Accra. Come, because I sense in my spirit that God will honor you in many ways. In the name of Jesus.
Thank you very much. You have heard Prophet Fojo, who is leading Invasion, but we've been discussing the impact of virtual church and the real church, i.e. what you do on social media that you call church, and what you do where we meet, clap, pray, and have contact with one another. That's been what we've been looking at. My name, as always, has been Darrell Allen Tago. Thank you so very much for joining us. Stay around. Coming up next is a conversation or a discussion. Asafo Nanaya will bring us advice on dating. Thank you very much.
From GBC Studio 1, this is The Breakfast Show.
9, from a conversation on going to church virtually to supporting the creative industries. My guest is Julien Leka. He is director of the l'Institut Français in Ghana and head of corporation and cultural affairs. Julien, bonjour, good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you here. And seated next to him is Nana Akosua Hansen. She is the creator of Moon Girls. If you haven't flipped through that graphic work of art, you should. And she's a winner of something really exciting, and she will say it herself. Nana, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Kat.
Good to have you here on the desk.
Good to have you.
Okay, so Julien, let's talk first of all about the creative industries and why they need support.
Okay, so at the French Embassy, we just want to support Ghana, but I always said in my office, I don't know Ghana, I'm a French diplomat. Mm-hmm. So first of all, we have a lot of meetings, there was a lot of surveys about what Ghana need. Mm-hmm. And then with all these experiences, I met Akosua in the past, we feel that we have something to do in Ghana for CCI, so for creative and cultural industries. It's something we can share, France and Ghana, because this is a sector where France and Ghana are very strong, and we can share a lot of things. And then we think, and with our partners from the institution, from the association, from the business sector, that France can help, can support this sector in Ghana.
Okay.
And perhaps at the French Embassy, we don't want to decide what we are going to do in Ghana. First of all, we want to know what Ghanaian people, what Ghanaian institutions are expecting from us. And it's something very new for us, because we have some skills in France, there is some skills in Ghana, and the more important is to find the sector where we can work together. I mentioned that we are going to support this sector, but it's not exactly the good word. It's not to support, it's to share,
To share experiences.
Yes, share experiences, share skills, because in France we are very good in CCI, but also in Ghana, and especially in this sector. Africa is very rich about culture, also creation, and so we met so many people. A large number, let me say that at the beginning of the project there was 600 applications. Okay?
Wow. 600.
Yes, so
it's a lot of applications.
Yes, 600 people from Ghana. Mm-hmm. We would ask for support for exchange with the French Embassy. Mm. So it's a call. It was a huge call for project, and so. It was a good idea, it's a good sector.
Yes. What kind of projects did you see in the 600? Is this art, what, music?
And then, it's perhaps we speak about that later. There is so many sectors in Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, art, culture, music, gastronomy, design, fashion.
Okay.
In Ghana, you can find everything.
It was broad.
Yes. So. At the beginning, we are thinking, okay, we are going to select a sector, perhaps music, perhaps cinema, movie, or animation. But at the end of the day, we think, okay, us, at the French Embassy, we won't select the sector. Mm-hmm. We have so many applications, so we are having a selection, a free selection. We are at the French Embassy, we won't say we want to support this sector. The most important is what Ghanaian people are expecting from them and from us. So that means we didn't choose any sector in particular.
Okay. All right. And is this an annual thing? Every year will you be supporting? Or is it every 5 years, every 10 years? Okay. What is the frequency of this?
Okay, it's a very good question. So it's a very innovative project for us, for the French Embassy and for the French government. Mm-hmm. It's very new. It's the first time we do that in our project all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
First time. So at this moment, the project is rolling well.
Mm-hmm.
So now we are going to ask to the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs and to the French government, okay, it's working. We need to continue.
All right, good. And before I come to Akosua, how much funding was available for creators in Ghana from this project in total?
Okay. So the whole project is for $1 million euros. Okay, we'll give directly to the CCI entrepreneurs 400,000 euros. Unfortunately, you know, Kafui, in the project there are so many expenses as management, as communication. Yeah. Also, we support some events, but you know, in this project, I mentioned 400,000 euros. In fact, it was, I remember it because yesterday the French ambassador, Mr. Nyamosu, asked me 650,000 euros for this year. Okay. And later, we hope that we'll continue on the right, on this way, just to be sure that for the next step, we can give more.
Good. Sounds good. And now to Akosua, explain to our audience what it is that you do and how come you're linked to this particular project.
So I'm a writer, and my project that was selected under the Creation Africa Ghana program was Moon Girls, which is my latest writing project.
Pass it over to me, let me have a look.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Moon Girls. So,
yes, Moon Girls.
So what's the synopsis of Moon Girls?
It's a graphic novel. So it's a graphic novel. Think comics, but graphic novel in the sense is for adults. And it follows the adventures of 4 women superheroes who are basically fighting for an Africa free from corruption, patriarchy, rape culture, environmental distraction. You know, when you think of a superhero, what do you think? Batman, Superman, right? I want you to now think in the next 10 years when you ask this generation, who is a superhero?
Akosua Fire.
Or Fatima the Moon Girl.
One time.
You know, and that's actually what we want to do. I think that in bringing cultural change, the arts is a very important part of it, you know, and when you empower African youth in thinking about themselves as active citizens, you know, you actually see the change. And for us, we do it. People do protests, which are important. People use our social media to call out government. People do all sorts of stuff. We also believe that comics, graphic novels is also a way, because it does that. If you look, it's images, it's text. So it gives you a space for imagination and reimagination of what you can do, you know. And yeah, so that's why we were selected this year. We applied, as you heard, 608 applications, you know, and luckily, yes. But now we are moving into film, so that's what we got selected for.
So you're going to turn this into a movie?
Into a movie, yes. 3D animation. Nice. Animax FYB Studios, right here in Ghana.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What or who made you a writer?
I'll say my mom claims I wrote my first poem at like 4 or 5 years old or something.
Can you remember?
I can't remember. I think, but she just said I always loved writing, and poetry was the very first form. But my schools, my creative writing teachers were the ones that, you know, encouraged that habit. And more than writing, to be able to write, you have to read, you have to know critical thinking skills. So my dad made me study philosophy at the age of 11, 12. I was reading Descartes and things like that. So by all means, by the time I got to university, I wanted to study African philosophy. So yeah, I think it was my environment, school, the teachers, and just a hunger to bring change. You know, and writing is one of the many things that I do. So I'll say these things.
You don't remember that poem Mommy said you wrote when you were very young, but what is the earliest poem or earliest bit of writing that you can remember?
Oh gosh. There was this poem I had about freedom. All I remember is the first line: freedom, free. I forget, but it was largely about finding freedom for yourself, defining yourself, all of that. You know, my mom found a book of my love poems I used to write to some boy I had a crush on. At the age of 30, imagine mommy calling you and say, Nana, I found your love poems. I was so shy.
You feel like disappearing, right?
And she was so proud. For her, it was like, see how you wrote, see the language, see, you know. So it's that type of encouragement. And that's the type of encouragement I hope, you know, the youth get today. We always talk about our educational systems now today. I feel like we're at a crisis stage, you know, and work like Moon Girls is trying to provide an alternative education where the major systems may have failed. People now go online, you know, kids have YouTube, kids can read comics online, you know, so we are trying to create those other spaces that children can or youth, young adults too can go and learn other alternative ways of, thinking and reimagining and becoming active citizens.
Okay.
One big theme about Moon Girls is especially our environmental distraction, looking at how we've destroyed, for instance, our rivers, our lagoons.
You have Ghana saying
yes, we talk about it.
Good.
I'm glad. So this bottle is from which river again?
Pra. Yes.
And this is all the pollution. And I'm glad you still have this bottle.
We still have the bottle.
Another lagoon I want to even bring up, the Sakumo Lagoon.
Exactly.
It's actually a Ramsar site which has been declared as an international site of importance because of the biodiversity.
Yeah, it's a stopping place for birds.
It's a stopping place for birds. 70 species of birds have been recorded
and now there's concrete there.
And now there's concrete there because they want to sell the river as land. You know that the also important thing about that lagoon, in days of old, the Gandambe say that it houses the deity called Sakumo. That's why it's called the Sakumo River. And that deity came to them at the time of one of their historical wars against the Akwamu, and they won that war. And therefore, that lagoon was where they housed that deity. But with the distraction of our African traditional religious systems, with the distraction of us understanding our own wisdom, if you don't believe that this lagoon houses this powerful deity, now you won't care to pollute it or you to desilt it. So that's the work of Moon Girls, reminding you of yourselves,
Awesome. And so from a comic to a movie via Creation Africa Ghana. Yes. How long was the application process for you?
It was actually very simple. Okay. I remember it was very, very simple. The questions were really simple. And I finished it within 30 minutes to 40 minutes. Very simple questions, and you just put in your links for works you've already done, and they will do their own research on what you do. And when they did their own research was when I discovered that Moon Girls is actually the oldest IP in graphic novel and comic on the continent.
Really?
Since when? First, I don't know. The one that held the title was Captain South Africa, right? Which has 10 issues, and they ended around 2018.
When did you start Moon Girls?
We started Moon Girls in 2019, and we are still releasing in 2024.
How
and
many
we
issues
have 18 issues.
Oh, wow.
Well
done.
Yeah, thank you.
What did you win? What did you win?
We won 20,000 euros.
Whoa!
Yes, my earring is gone.
That's a lot of Lucci. And that's going to go into the production of the movie.
That's all going into the production of the film.
What are the timelines?
The timelines, we are looking at least to have a proof of concept by the end of this year.
Okay.
And then proof of concept is what you can use to shop and send to different film festivals, let people know the work, and then expand it into feature-length film. You're looking at about 120 minutes, that type of stuff. Proof of concept is shorter, so that's what we want to do with this funding, to expand it.
Forget Steven Spielberg. We have Akosia Hansen. Yes. Julian, where do we go from here? I mean, this sounds very exciting.
So, Akosia mentioned that we give her some funds. What is very special with this project and very innovative for us, that is, first of all, the committee who select the project, the 15 last project from 600 to 15. The French Embassy was not part of the jury, the commission, the committee.
Yeah, so it's independent.
Exactly. Secondly, we want to support entrepreneurship. So this money, in the past we used to give, to share some money just to make some events. At this moment, we change our mind, and especially in Ghana, in Ghana you are very focused on business, in entrepreneurship. And so we said, okay, because the people ask us, okay, we don't want to have any support for one event. We want something sustainable. So that's why the program is not only to give them some money, it's also to support them with mentorship,
some training and things?
Training, incubation.
Nice.
Impact Hub, our partner, made a very great job. Impact Hub, it's a Ghanaian incubator.
Yes,
they lead the project with the French Embassy. And so it was a long trip, perhaps, but not so long. 5 months. 5 months.
Long, but not so long.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Because I mentioned long because some people were asking, we want the results. But it was not so easy because there was a lot of interviews, the mentorship, and it will continue for 1 month.
Yeah.
And
you want the best, so yeah.
We want,
yes.
I don't want I think Ghana wants the best.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So it will take some time to
yes.
get what we
and
want.
just to be sure that at the end of the day, we have some sustainable companies, sustainable jobs, because it's very important for us.
Yes.
You know, that the people from Ghana find jobs, especially young people, women, and people from all over the country. And it was not so easy, you know, because at the beginning, all the applicants was from Accra, only more or less guys.
Yeah.
So we make a second call, just to be sure that it's no everywhere in Ghana. So at the end of the day, we have more women, female than men.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly, perhaps 8 women and 7 guys.
Men.
Yes.
Yeah.
People from Accra, from Kumasi, and from Tamale. And for us, it's very important, you know. As I mentioned, we won't decide where we are going to work in Ghana. The more important is what Ghanaian people are expecting.
Yeah.
And so that is very innovative for us at the French Embassy. And then also to be sure that this money, because you know it's money from the French government, from the French citizen, will be used for the right issue. And so we'll continue during 1 month to follow you, Akosua. And then later with a steering committee to be sure that perhaps in few months, to be sure that the things are going well.
Yes.
And then to propose a new project to the French government.
Awesome. And I'm sure those who are thinking about the new project will probably want to hear from Akosua what it takes for you to win that support and then make your dream come alive. So what can you say to those who probably saw the call, didn't respond, and now they can see that something actually has happened and they're thinking, okay, maybe the next time I will jump on. What can you tell them, Akosua?
Apply, and especially to the women creators, women artists, you know, do apply. I'm glad that they, you know, sometimes you do applications, you get more men.
Yes.
But they actually, because of that, I remember I was even called, here's a flyer, push to more women. So I also sent a flyer to more women in my circles, you know, and now we had a balance. So sometimes this is what we call, you know, taking that extra affirmative action, you know, and we have more women even than men in the selection. So apply and also create anyway, you know, whether you have the funding or not. Just start, just create anyway, because Moon Girls really started with I didn't have a PESWA, you know, but just because I had created at a point and something was there, now that is proof we can show to CAG, for instance, that, oh, this is what is there. So therefore, oh, the work is being done, so we can support this person, you know. So create anyway, women apply, and the opportunities will come, definitely. As soon as once you have the mentality of no matter what, I'm going to still do my art, I'm going to still grow my business. It's another way to create another income stream for yourself, considering, you know, the economy and things like that. And arts, the creative industry across Africa, they say in a few years is going to be a $1 billion, you know, industry across the continent, you know.
Okay.
So, and we should be part of making that money. We should be part of enjoying that, you know. So, yeah, take advantage.
Okay. How can people find Moon Girls?
So moongirls.live is it's online and it's free actually, because we want you to, you know, educate yourselves on the issues thing. So it's free. Moongirls.live. Yes, L-I-V-E.
Check it out. Moon, like moon in the sky. Girls, like Akosua.
That's one word.
Moongirls.live. Julien, how do people get in touch with you? L'Institut Français.
Oh, yes. Okay. So we have a nice website, Création Africa Ghana. We are on the network also, on social network. You can meet me at the French Embassy. We have a team. I need to mention, Impact Hub with Kelechi. Création Africa Ghana, the project is based at the French Alliance with Marion and Ophelia. They are available also. It's true, thank you for this question, Kafri, because for the next step we need to find the new creative entrepreneur, creative entrepreneurs.
Yes,
the right words. I think.
Good word.
And perhaps I think it's easy to meet us. And then perhaps I want to mention one other thing, because at the end of the day there was 8 women and 7 guys. But you know, it was not our choice. The committee, the selection committee, just find the best one.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there was ladies.
More women.
Okay. Good. And so it's just few words, for you guys. Don't be afraid. You can apply, but you need to be the best.
That's it. Yeah. You shouldn't worry. There are more women than men anywhere in Ghana. So if you have 8 versus 7, why not? Thank you so much, Julian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Akosia. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We want to see that movie come out soon.
You'll see it.
All right.
We'll
Okay.
here.
All right. I wish you a bon weekend to both of you. Okay. So I've enjoyed that conversation on art and creation, and look for moongirls.live, and of course find out from Lansithu Francais what the opportunities are. And see, you miss 100% of the opportunities or the shots that you don't take. So when you see it, apply, okay? You just may be a winner. Thank you so much. From winners here to winners on the other side, Valerie, she's a winner in Lime, and Nana, a winner in Ash. And she said she wanted a James Brown song. I'll see if I can find it for her. It's called Sex Machine by James Brown. Dun, 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 dun. Get up, get on down. All right. We'll go for a break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Let me go and find a song for her.
Congratulations to you, Akosia. We're going to be settling in for a conversation on relationships, and dating and courtship can be both exciting and challenging. We are going to be looking at tips to maintain healthy relationships, and none other than Reverend Nanaya Prempeh in studio to help us divert this course. Good morning, Rev. Good morning.
Bonjour à tous.
Okay.
Bonjour. Yeah.
Rev Patrick is saying, how has your week
been? God has been graceful and faithful. I'm excited to be alive.
Yes, indeed.
Life is good.
Yes, life is good. Yes, indeed. Okay, so People, how you can be interactive, join us. Our socials are active. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Also across social media, especially on Facebook where we are streaming, you can join the conversation as well. Look for the hashtag GTV Breakfast and then share your experiences with us. We are asking Reverend to tell us how to maintain healthy relationship tips, okay? So join the conversation. Welcome. Okay, so Rev, before we even start to get into the relationship, we have to look for a partner. I'm sure there are some key qualities that cut across. What are those qualities one should look out for when looking for a potential life partner?
Okay, so thank you very much, and good morning to all the cherished viewers of GTV around the globe. So before you even look for someone, who are you?
Right.
Who are you?
Right.
You need to know who you are before you can look for who is good for you. Many people just get up, oh, I need a man. I want a man who will do this to me. I want a thick, tall man. I want a short man. I want a heavy man. I want a man who can understand me, who can love me. Do you love yourself? Do you know who you are? If you don't identify who you are, how can you look for someone to fulfill your pleasures or to make you feel what you want to feel? So it all begins from identifying yourself and fulfilling yourself. That is why I believe that you should always make sure that you have your personal relationship with God, so that when somebody comes in your life and is tormenting you, you are solid. Right. You are like a building that is on a good rocky stone. Right. That you don't easily go left and right. So you must identify who you are and know the caliber of person you are, your temperament, your things that tick you, things that snap you, right. Things that, so identify who you are. And then when you know that you have fulfilled yourself, you are confident. And how do you become confident? You get confident when you have information. Yeah. Information gives you knowledge. Knowledge gives you power. Power builds your confidence. So you must be a confident individual. So when someone is coming into your life, it is not that person who is coming to make you. The person is going to add. To you. The person is going to be a bonus to you. And so your whole life is not going to depend on who the person is, what the person is. Some people don't have any personality when their wives are taken away from them or when their husbands are taken away from them.
Yeah, just lose it.
They don't lose, they just lose it because their whole world was because of that person. But if you know who you are and somebody comes into your life, you have substance already. So going out, or first of all, it's not the woman who goes out looking for men. From the biblical way, it's the woman makes herself available to be identified.
Rev, that's the biblical way.
That is that is a biblical way.
Yes, but then realistically, in what's happening now, women are going out to get the men that they like.
Well, there is nothing wrong with that. Okay. I mean, no. If you see a man that you like and you let him know you like him, ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yes, indeed.
No, ain't nothing wrong with that. But the biblical way or the normal way,
standard,
acceptable way.
Okay, the acceptable way.
The woman will make herself seeable, identifiable, reachable, viewable. Then the man will identify her or locate her. So your movement as a woman is so important. You must be at the right place at the right
committee for today. We'll start with introduction of members of the committee.
Taste. So, Oba Kempis Kevana, Onim say, Uncle Shia, Kofi Brookman or Obekwa Koshia, Yao Rich Man. Aha. Because Kempinski is not for small boys. When you buy Gary Soakings for 140 cedis, I beg you. So the person knows that I have to be strategically positioned.
Okay.
That is the number one thing for the woman.
Ladies, right place,
strategically
right time,
positioned.
Right people.
You belong to my church, Authority Bible Church. My church is a baby church. Yeah, shall say 1.5 years. And to so the kind of man you are looking for is not yet there. So if you are looking for Bill Gates, you will not find Bill Gates in Authority Bible Church. Even though I know that one day Bill Gates will walk in there. Amen. Because we are strategically positioned.
Okay.
As a church.
Okay.
So if you are a woman or a young lady that is looking for a good date, remember me for my words. When you are looking for fish, you don't go to the mountains. You go to the ocean. When you are looking for snakes, you go to the mountains. You don't go to the ocean. What are you looking for? And where are you going?
Yeah.
So your location truly determines your possession.
Okay.
And you belong to this small church. All the men in the church are married. Huh?
Yeah.
You are the chief usher. You are not married. You are not winning souls into the church. You are not bringing new people into the church. The church is so comfortable. You don't want to marry an unbeliever. Of course, the Bible says that what does a believer have to do with an unbeliever? Don't be unequally yoked. So you sit there with that, don't be unequally yoked in your mind. And you get to 50 years and you are not married. Because you don't want to be unequally yoked. It doesn't mean you cannot go out there and look for a man to preach to him.
Okay.
So if the church is doing programs and the people who are coming, you are not socializing with anyone. Because you are the chief usher, you only deal with the men of God or the women of God. The men of God come in, they are married. So if there is a program outside your church, there is an event outside your church, Joe Metal is having a concert, MOG is having a concert, Joyce Blessing is having a concert, what's the whole then? Spend some money and go to a concert, go to an event, go and mingle and tingle, and let somebody locate you. Even in your church, what can we miss so and your face is on your phone, sir. Nobody is looking at your beautiful face. Nobody can see it. So every location that you are, and of course, if you are sitting in church, you must know that your colleague church man is the one who will propose to you. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Sitting in church, I mean, nobody can take that away from anybody. But the point I'm making is, where you go determines what you will get.
Where you go.
So, and there are several ladies who have been at the right place, but they miss the right man because and they pretend like nobody here is my class. Because they've already made a tall list.
Right.
I want a man who is driving a Mercedes-Benz, a Range. I want a man driving a Land Cruiser.
Making 6 figures.
I don't want anyone driving a Boboya or taxi. Taxi for the taxi drivers. But you don't know that we go from taxi to Toyota Camry. The person can own a taxi and then go to Corolla and go to Camry. So if you demean a taxi driver, you can miss your husband.
Yeah.
Yes. Because somebody may have 2-3 taxis. He is richer than somebody sitting in the bank and just signing checks.
Right.
He has 3 taxis. They are making accounts to him. So you must have a very open mind when it comes to finding a partner. And the men who are only looking at women because of their figure, what bolos?
So Ray was telling me, Director Ray was telling me that he wants to do a switch because all his friends ever talk about is, hey, girl with your body, and it sort of leads them astray. What would you say to the guys like that, Ray and his cohorts?
The Bible says that who is man? Today he is, tomorrow he is not. Body can fade, especially when you're talking about us females.
Yeah.
When I was like 18, 19, I was smaller than Valerie. Yes, I was a little, when I was in Damascus, the wind can blow me away.
Yes.
So I was doing track, I was running, Tina Ray,
you too,
Tina Ray, and I will run like a bird. But now, God has been very gracious to me. He has given me body. I get body past, So if you are being attracted to a woman only because of her body, may God have mercy on you. Because the body can change overnight. It can change within a period of time. And so when you are looking for a good woman, please look for intelligence.
Okay.
Oba or drinko fie, oba obebu, a woman who will respect. If a woman doesn't respect her mother, her father, who are you that she'll respect you? Maybe because of your money, she'll respect you. Because of your power, she'll respect you. But that will be temporal until you put the ring on the finger.
Yeah.
Then you see her true colors. So look at how the woman respects her parents, her siblings. How does she talk about them? Her pastor. How does she talk about the pastor? Because these are the people who can advise her when you need help. So the way she regards them will depict what she will treat you like. And you must always know that the woman that you want to marry, the lady that you want to date, has a backbone, has a network behind her, so that in case of difficulty, you are not alone.
Right.
Because family is so important when it comes to relationship. There are a lot of men who are looking for endorsement from their parents or sisters. Our sisters are some. If the sister does not approve you, you will never be married to him.
How about mothers?
Oh, you see, right now, what I advise mothers is that the world has changed. Many things have changed. The days that we go and look for a wife for our sons, but it's okay to recommend a woman to your son.
Okay.
Recommend a wife to your son, or recommend a boy, a son, a man to your daughter. It's okay to do that. And actually, that is the best way to recommend.
Okay.
But don't impose. Because when you impose anyone on your child, you want them to marry for you.
Yeah, probably your taste.
Your taste. And it doesn't work like that. Eventually, it will backfire.
Okay.
Because love is from the heart. Love is in the heart. So the woman must know that this is the man that tickles me.
Okay.
This is the man that, gives me the fire. The thought of his name alone gives me sparks.
Butterflies.
So if the lady doesn't have that for the gentleman, please do not force her. Of course, I always say that love grows and love dies.
Yeah.
Anything that can grow can also die. You have to remember that. So if you know that love can grow, then remember that love can die. So whatever you need to rekindle it, you must have a spark. Everything. Is it taking the woman for dinner that makes her excited? Is it getting her a bottle of wine that gives her the spark? Is it taking her for a vacation? What is it that brings the spark in the relationship? You must know.
Okay.
Your emotional intelligence must be very high and alert when it comes to relationships.
Okay.
That is what brings the spark, because your spouse or your partner will like to be surprised. Oh, how did he know it was my birthday? He's not even married to me, but he knows today is my birthday, and he has brought me chocolate. Oh, the fact, because men can't remember dates.
Right.
Men refuse to remember dates. Oh yeah, no, send you when it's getting time for anniversary. Oh, maybe my work, they want me to go on a trip. It's because the anniversary is coming, and he probably has to take you out or be kind to you. So why do men sometimes behave like that?
Why? We are asking questions.
Yeah,
Why? Intentionally forgetting birthdays and anniversaries.
Oh, shut up. Why do you remember the day you were born, but you can't remember the day that the love of your life was born? You know, so they must make efforts. You know, intentionally remember the dates of the women in their lives, because women love that. When you're able to surprise a woman on her birthday, hey, I could know you kill and finish. I mean, like well, maybe anniversary, the day we met. Then you send her a nice poem. You send her a nice. Oh, right now you can also do voice notes.
Yes.
Thanks to WhatsApp and technology, you can do a nice voice note in any language you want. Oh, maybe do you remember this day and this time exactly where we met? When I saw you in the red outfit. You know I love red, right? In that. So you mesmerize the lady. She will be taken away. She'll be blown away that, oh, this guy is romantic. He remembers where we met, what I was wearing, and can even mention the name of my perfume. Hey, these little things.
It's the little
they
things.
They turn the woman on, because men don't normally do that. They just refuse to remember your date of birth. They don't. Their children, they don't even remember how old they are.
Why?
You ask a man, how many children? Oh, I have 4. How old? Oh, I think, Kwesi, I think, don't think, no.
So this is off. One man, he was a guest on our show, but behind the scenes we're having a conversation, and he has twin girls who were asking me, oh, so how many, what's the interval? And he had no idea. And then Kaf was like, oh, and then he said, oh, he wasn't even there for the birth. He was watching a repeat of a Bayern game or something.
Are you serious?
Yes.
That really hurts. His wife shouldn't hear that.
Well, yeah.
His wife shouldn't hear that. That you were watching a soccer game when your wife was in labor for your twins? Oh, mercy. That hurts. But you see, you must be sensitive as a human being. You must be sensitive. If you want to find true love, you must be a sensitive person.
Okay. Right.
You must be a sensitive person, because people come all the way, show you their true love when you become caring and concerned. Then they will also give it back to you. I keep saying that if you give a woman one seed, one sperm, she can give you triplets. Women will multiply.
Yes, indeed.
So you give me love, I'll give you triple love. You try me. Tell my husband he should try me. Give me love, I'll give you triple love. Give me hatred.
So all the gentlemen upstairs in our control room, they should number like 6. They are telling me in my ear that it's not true. She said that, oh, Reverend Anaya is your generational woman, not the modern day woman.
Which that's what?
Yes, people, what are you saying? They said we don't appreciate all of that.
The women?
Oh, we don't multiply love.
This generational women, a lot of them.
Hamida is behind the camera. She says she multiplies love.
Women are multipliers.
Yes.
We multiply everything. We don't choose and pick. We are magnetic multipliers. I want you to trend with that. Women are magnetic multipliers.
Magnetic multipliers.
You give me 10 cedis, I can make you food that you don't deserve.
Right.
You understand? Women believe in adding value to everything. That is why when I come to your home and I see your environment, I can tell you if a woman lives in that house or not.
Yeah.
Because, and especially when the woman is a good woman, a good quality woman. There are some women who don't care. She will say, oh gosh, I went to some home before, I don't want to talk about it. Ay. And the woman was in the house. One sample biri. I'm friend saying that big fly. Hey, walking everywhere, and she take a fan and she'll be killing it in the living room.
Maybe she was making something with more money in the kitchen.
Oh, but close the kitchen door. So typically, when you go to every or any environment and there's a woman there, it's very easy to identify.
Right.
There are few men who have taken it upon themselves to train themselves to keep themselves clean. So when you go and there's no woman, you will still see everything well kept. There are some men who are, my son is like that.
Okay.
You open his closet and everything is washed and arranged. Sneakers are here, socks are here, underwear are here. Everything is arranged. But I know that there are men that you can go to their home, everything is on the floor. And you walk out and you are wearing a tie. Who are you deceiving? You must keep your environment clean. Because a healthy body in a healthy home. Is that what they say?
A healthy mind lives in a healthy body.
Yeah, it's a healthy mind in a healthy body in a healthy home. Because you don't leave your home, but some girls, you are losing men because of the way you keep your environment bazaar. Like you don't care. Your shoes are everywhere. Underwear on the floor, bra. How do you put your bra on the floor? It doesn't make sense. So this, and you bring a man to your home, he sees it, Otilo. When he goes, he will never come back. And you think that, oh, the man has disappointed you, he deceived you. Maybe he's shy, or he's fearful, or he's even ashamed to tell you to keep your surroundings clean. Because everybody wants to have a good life.
Right. Rev, also, how do we maintain and build trust in our modern day era, modern day dating relationship?
Trust is a big issue. We can do a 24-hour show on trust. And if you open the lines and you ask people to talk about trust in their relationships, don't be disappointed. Because people are now living double lives.
Yeah.
And they expect their marriages to be perfect, to be good. Why? You can't eat your cake and have it. And building trust, number one, transparency.
Yeah.
Transparency is the biggest thing in building trust. You must be very open in the relationship. Don't hide things in your relationship. It will break the trust. Remember, the person that you choose to spend your time with, the person that you choose to fall in love with, falling in love is a choice. It is a choice. You are surrounded by many people and you choose to fall in love with Nanaya. You chose. You have an option to have other people and make a choice. So you must remember that the choice that you make, you must remember that the choice that you make is going to put you in a position that you have to spend time with this person for the rest of your life. So,
your music is playing. Quick tips.
So please, tip number one, be God-fearing.
Yes.
Be God-fearing. Tip number two, trust. You must be transparent in your relationship. Transparent. Tip number three, do things together. Yes, you have to like the company of the person that you love. I'll leave it at 3 for now.
Yes, indeed. Thank you so much.
Sunday, I'm having an anniversary for my dead parents, my late parents and my brother at Authority Bible Church, ABC, 3 o'clock in the afternoon at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel this Sunday.
Yes, indeed.
If you love me, come and show me love. If you don't love me too, ask me for my Momo number. I'll send it to you. Don't give me an excuse that you are traveling. So Sunday, 3 p.m. at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Come and support me to Thanksgiving service for my late parents and my brother.
And we are heading over to Parliament for the live coverage of the Public Accounts Committee sitting. See you. Bye.